take first watch.
Hello, welcome to an all-new spooky episode of the First Watch podcast. I'm Zach, and I'm here with Cole and Morgan. How you guys doing?
We out here.
Cole, how are you
Um,
feeling now that you're back from the southern reaches of California? You were in vacation in San Diego, right?
yeah, just a fun little weekend. But back to normal, back to festival season. So many movies
Yes.
to talk about.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll dig into it. Usually in October, we always like to do horror movies, whether there's a new one that's released or just another thing that we want to talk about. It's usually a good opportunity to get guests on here. As you can see, we have no guest on here, and that's kind of my fault. Our original intent here was to do two episodes, one on Brian De Palma's Carrie and one on John Carpenter's Christine, and ultimately we decided that we're gonna bundle them together. We're gonna talk about them at the same time, thematic similarities, directorial differences, whatever we want to get into. But before that, we will, as always, dig into what we've been watching lately, which I know is going to be kind of a large slate. I think I'm just gonna steal the thunder, steal the mic real quick, and talk about the first of two solo softy movies hitting the theaters this year. The first of which directed by Benny Softy, starring Dwayne Johnson, starring Emily Blunt, which is The Smashing Machine, which I have to say, I came into with a lot of enthusiasm and excitement. I was,
I got to it late, and
yeah,
I knew that I would probably be a little muted in relation to how much I was excited for it beforehand. But I was still like, okay, we'll see what's here. And we not to give the game away, but we came to a remarkably similar conclusion, all three of
yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah. I think watching the trailer, which to me always looked pretty cool, like I just thought the photography looked nice, and that's still true in the film. Like it's a good looking movie. It seemed like an
Yeah,
obvious awards play for The Rock, but potentially within a, a format of performance, whether you're talking about Raging Bull or The Wrestler or Rocky somewhere in the middle. That's a winning formula. You know, the last like really good Mark Wahlberg thing was The Fighter, right? And it's not like that's not an amazing movie necessarily, but it just felt like a good chance for him to give his best work since Southland Tales. And I mean, arguably he does, or maybe his
Yeah,
best since Fast Five. He's all right. He's okay. Anybody telling you he's great is trying to
it's
sell you
good.
something.
It's not great, but he's good in it.
I think I ultimately came away with the conclusion after hearing a bunch of takes about the two leads in this film from a variety of avenues, not just you two even, that they're both fine. Emily Blunt has been called bad, and I've
I've
seen
called
her,
her bad.
yeah, and I've also seen her called great. I
It was a
find
little cartoony.
neither of those to be particularly true. It's the problem is that one, I don't think it's very good casting. And two,
Yeah.
the script doesn't do her any favors at all. It's a almost hilariously underwritten character.
Yeah.
Um,
But with that, she does nothing good. And
well,
I get it.
No,
I understand the playbook set her up for failure, but like
and here's
a
the thing
double
about the
negative.
and here's the thing about the playbook. I haven't seen the documentary that this is based on, but
Yeah.
I
a
tried,
lot of
can't
people
find
have
it.
said it is basically a one to
A
one,
beat for
like
beat. Yeah.
exactly the same, which therein lies your issue. A documentary has a natural life force all its own that comes from watching people be in these situations in real life that a staged production just does not have the same energy of.
I think it all hinges on the performance. You need Jake LaMotta. You need
Yeah,
Rocky Balboa. Like you need
and
you need that force of character and personality.
I understand that this movie doesn't exist without Dwayne Johnson, but also Mark Kerr was in his 20s,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson is like 55 or older.
Yeah. That's an
And
interesting comparison. Yeah.
he looks 55 or older still.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. Again, he's fine. It's a better performance. I would certainly much rather see him doing this than, Moana live action upcoming.
Sure.
But
This
Yeah.
definitely feels, you can feel the tactical maneuvering happening under the surface of it though. Like he's trying
yeah.
to like establish some credibility. For what reason? Who knows why an
Well, I
actor
mean, he's
establishes credibility.
literally Black Adam went up in flames, so and he put so much sauce or so much juice into promoting all of that.
Hmm.
Uh, shout out the Queen of England. I knew she would have loved Black Adam. Um, but I think he's doing this because he doesn't have anywhere else left to go
I mean,
as a
shit.
star.
What's left? Like running for president?
Yeah, he's done all the kind of moneymaker comedy duo. He's like a better star than the movies he's been in would lead you to believe, I think. Like
Yeah,
Agreed.
he
like he's
has
better than Fast Five cohort Vin Diesel, for instance.
correct, correct. One of the reasons why Fast Five is the best of those movies, in my opinion, is because they add him and he brings a good amount of like dickhead funny flavor to it, right? Like he's a jerk in that movie and it works really
Hmm.
well.
And
And
they're
he's
good
got good
foils
comedic
for each
presence.
other.
I think one of the biggest problems is that his comedic foil in a lot of these movies has been Kevin Hart. And
Yeah.
like honestly, like,
Shout out Central Intelligence.
right. And Jumanji and others.
The
So
Super Pets. Super Pets.
no taste might be the biggest
Yeah.
problem here. So yeah, this definitely just felt like an opportunity, but just an ego project. I think what I was getting at the very beginning, coming into it, the worst thing that this movie could be is kind of a boring version of itself, and that's exactly what it was. Like you're hoping that Benny Safdie is going to do something that just like left hooks the audience into a weird territory, and that just
Hmm.
never really happens.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like I think the story here is the story of the wife character. Because following Mark Kerr like this is absolutely nothing we haven't seen from a sports biopic
Yeah.
already, and it's even a far more muted version of that.
You know,
So if there's
you saying that makes me think of the Jeff Nichols movie from last year, The Bike Riders. This has like a lot of that.
yeah,
It's similar energy.
Mm.
Good
it's
pictures. None of it's awful, but boy, I struggle to remember why anyone cared about it.
yeah. Um Yeah, I mean it's just a real whiff. And
Mhm.
I was waiting the whole time to find some sort of connective tissue as to why beyond even a documentary that was fairly popular in its time, I think, why
The,
this needed to be dramatized
mm.
at all. And I just never got there.
The issue with focusing on the relationship, which everyone in my theater groaned at the end title card. We're like, oh yeah, they did get married. Everyone was like, God damn it, really? It pushes away the friendship he has with the other Mark in the
Which is
in the
the best performance in
organization.
the film,
And it's
Brian
also like
Bader.
he's really good. He actually is good. Like that hospital scene they have together is far and away the best moment in the entire film.
Yeah.
Shouts to
He
Christine.
and he like looks obviously he looks like a fighter because he is. Uh
Mm-hmm.
but like a lot more than Dwayne Johnson does. Like, yeah, you got him in makeup and they did the cauliflower ear on him, but he still looks like he hasn't been in a fight in like 30 years. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like, it just begs for a softy style thing of like, get a real guy in
Like
here.
somebody we don't know. Like
Yeah.
somebody from the streets of New York who's
Mm-hmm.
just like, got yeah, like a raw characteristic. And then let Emily Blunt be the star because she's the
Yeah.
movie star and she can do
As
that.
yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a similar suspicion about the upcoming Springsteen film.
Mm,
Which is based on a book that I have read, I don't know, about 50 pages of and dropped because there was no story there. Like he made Nebraska because he was sad and weird and about being famous, and then he made Nebraska and it was great.
yeah, listen to the music.
Yeah, that's the story. That's
Pick up the album and listen to it.
yeah. The draw of that is getting one of our best modern actors and seeing him do cool Springsteen stuff. So I maybe that'll carry that to like a 2.5, but
Yeah,
that's
it
about my
feels
highest
Yeah.
hopes.
yeah, not to I don't know. Yeah,
I
Jeremy
mean,
Allen
it'll
White,
definitely
Iron
be
Claw.
better than him playing a hut next year.
Ugh,
Uh, that
I'm tired.
that's that's
do
such
not.
that's such a freak pick that it might be like it might just be more interesting than him doing another musician biopic.
If
I
you
don't know.
are
It's
acting
I
in
I
mid
will be
2010s, mid 2020 Star Wars, your career is dead.
he'll be fine, but especially because he's like it's the same thing. It's the same reason Pedro Pascal survived is that he's not really even there.
Yeah, yeah. It'll just
Um,
be
Yeah.
like the
I
voice.
don't think
yeah,
Pedro Pascal has stepped onto the set of The Mandalorian since 2020.
no. Uh,
It just lends his name to the title card.
yeah.
Maybe says
That
a few
that
lines.
The
Hmm.
Mandalorian and Grogu will be a film that if there's nothing else out on that Thursday night
Hmm. You're still
and
staying home.
I have nothing else going on, I'll go with my friends and see it. But if
Hmm.
like I just otherwise I cannot be bothered.
I
I don't
It's gonna
like
think,
that
be
show. I don't
yeah.
like I just ugh. This is the
uh
first Star Wars film in 6 years.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go with it too. Is
oof.
like Cole will either see this or skip this in theaters, and if he sees it, it'll be interesting because you've skipped all the Marvel stuff. So it's like we're skipping the Marvel, but apparently Star Wars still gets the ticket punched, if that's the case. But to
Frankly, it still has more prestige.
That's
well,
the
and
thing.
to your point, there hasn't
Star
been a
Wars
film
does
since
not come out
2019.
every yeah, Star
Yeah.
Wars does not come out every 3 to 5 business days.
Well, it did from a period of 2015 to 2019, and then, well, we all know what happened after that. So
Yeah,
this is
Yeah.
that's
their
true.
grand return, but you're like, wow, this is your grand return? This?
Yeah, it'll make
Solo numbers,
yeah, it'll like 400 million.
People like
if
that
that.
puppet,
Yeah.
People do love Baby Yoda.
so don't rule that out. The only other things that I'll nod, I haven't really been on the new release wagon or much of a movie wagon at all between r reading the two books that we're talking about today, just other reading stuff. Started dicking around with a Minolta film camera. It's been a lot of fun, so I've just been like going around Dallas taking pictures of stuff. But I did watch two movies at the Texas Theater that I think are worth nodding. One of them, 25th anniversary re-release 4K restoration upcoming in December, just recently announced. I don't know if it's December or January. I don't pay attention to that. But Yi, Edward Yang, that
Mm,
was part of the whole Edward Yang retrospective that was going around in what, 24 was that? Either 23 or 24. It was in LA and Chicago, and that was when Confusion and Mahjong got their restorations, and that never blew through here. So it was pretty exciting to get this. I think my biggest thing, like why it's exciting to get it, is because when you get like a 3 hour movie, there's
mhm,
something kind of nice about sitting in the theater for it. Like I can't pause it, I can't get distracted. I'm not gonna go make a hot dog. I'm not gonna go do my laundry. I just have to
mhm,
watch this fucking movie.
Yeah, we also got this at the Kentucky Theater. I don't know if it was part of the same like series or anything. Uh, and the only reason I didn't go is because I had just watched it, which
Oh yeah,
mhm.
right.
yeah,
Yeah, that.
and I,
Mhm,
I just think like there's no way that I would have enjoyed it as much at home as
Yeah,
I would have in the theater there.
it's just a grand old experience. I mean, last movie he ever made, really
R.I.P.
cool that he was so ahead of the curve in terms of thinking about the future and modern culture and that shift into the 21st century.
Mhm,
And yeah, you can't help. I know you watched Mahjong this year, Cole, for the first time, and it was one of your
yeah.
favorites that you watched for the first time.
Mhm,
But like, just yeah, one of those Satoshi Kon, Andrei Tarkovsky, like died young, didn't do a lot of movies, but you're like, he had so much more to give. Not just because he was young, but like the wave was still rolling really hard on that last movie, and then yeah, it was not meant to be. He was too good for this world.
Yeah, some people literally just go too hard.
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. If you do a brighter summer day and it's like, all right, you're cut off. We're done. Get out of here. And yeah, just a gift to be able to see that. I'm really hoping like a brighter summer day is like a bucket list theater movie for me for the same reasons. 4 hours, top 10 or whatever favorite movies I've ever seen. This is an incredible movie.
Mhm.
So hopefully we get that. The other one that I saw, was a little sillier. As for a program that they call Wudong Wednesdays, which happened to coincide with the monthly Bleak Cinema thing. And the Wudong Wednesday movie was a Chinese ghost story, which was just kind of a fun spooky season, Halloween, October kind of shout. It's a remake of a Shaw Brothers film, the title of which I don't remember, produced by Sweetheart, although not directed by him. But just like you watch a lot of those sort of Golden Harvests, Shaw Brothers, whatever wuxia movies, and you can go through at least for me, first like I enjoy all of them, but you can go a long time without finding one that just like really hits your just stick to your ribs kind of quality, and that was one of them. Just extremely funny, really lots of like lush, passionate imagery. Definitely one I recommend if you can get your hands on it because it's just like it's a total joy. It's also like an 80, 90 minute kind of movie, so that that definitely adds a lot to it. It's just very over the top. I don't know if you guys have seen that or any of the other, just whatever. There's a huge canon of those, but this one was really good for the season. And yeah, that's pretty much what I got.
Okay, so I'll start with a couple well, this is mostly rewatches actually. But so I'll start with Point Break, which I watched
Yeah.
a while ago,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
which was a movie that I saw for the first time in full at 19 years old and did not care for at all. Uh and sometimes you're 19 years old and you say and think weird things. That's the
Yeah.
only
Too true.
perspective I have on that. I don't know that person anymore. Um, this is a riot. Swayze gives one of the most magnetic performances I've ever seen in that whole decade. It's the thing that like completely establishes Keanu in like
Mhm.
the household name star vehicle kind of thing. And he's like,
I would argue that if we take the Matrix and we, kind of put that in a box and say like that was like a perfect magical moment, this is like peak star Keanu to me.
yeah,
Like the sex appeal, the coolness, like just
I am
Zen
an
mode.
FBI agent.
There's just like this one particular image. You see it as like a GIF all the time where he's just like standing in this heavy ass rain, like throwing a thumbs up, and you're
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's a fucking star.
that is a guy with all of the juice, and the two of them
And just talking
sharing
about
the screen.
Busey. Busey being a
Oh my
goddamn
God.
goofball for like
Oh my
15 minutes of it.
God.
I was taking shots of shrapnel in the ass in Khe-Sanh while you were rubbing crap on your face.
Amazing. Incredible. This would have
Oh,
been, they were both in Speed together. Was Speed before this? No, Speed was after.
no, Speed
Speed
was
was
like
after.
94
Yeah,
and this was
Speed was after.
91.
Got you.
Yeah. And it's a good movie on like some people's opinions on this podcast.
I think this movie's the reason why I'm not as into it. I don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah, I just I already have Speed on 4K. I will be buying this 4K. There are
Mm.
two movies that I will own. Just lights out stuff. It's a little long, but like
It's kind of like a dopey version of Heat.
yeah, and I think that was probably like I had just become like the Heat is the greatest thing of all time
Yeah.
when I had seen
Uh-huh.
Point Break for the first time. And so I was maybe just like holding it up in like a little too high of expectations. And now that I'm like totally on the wavelength of the movie, it's just like, oh God. Hot Fuzz has codified that scene. The
That's
end of
right.
the foot chase as like defining moments in action cinema.
Unfortunately, it hasn't quite rubbed off for me for Bad Boys 2 in the same way.
Yeah. N No, which one do you want to watch first?
Incredible stuff.
Um, Now I hate to hand it to him, but Joss Whedon can cook.
Yeah.
He can, he
Yeah.
has.
A few
He's not
times.
allowed to, he's not allowed to anymore, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But
Ladies and gentlemen,
I
Alien Resurrection. Kidding.
don't do that. Don't sully this. So I watched
Fucking
all the
Santa
first
Claus.
I watched all of the first season, first and only season of Firefly again, as I have done dozens of times in my life. There are episodes of that show that I can quote almost beat for beat. Um, but what I hadn't done in a while was watch the movie because it was,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot darker and it's doing like the series finale thing in over the course of like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's just like I always loved it, but I was like, I don't know how well this is gonna hold up. But just watching the show again recently this time, I was like, all right, I'm gonna pony up. This 4K is like $12. Let's just do it. Um, and this absolutely knocked me off my feet all over again. This is one of the it's not quite Speed Racer levels of best action films of the 2000s, but this is such an incredible set piece vehicle. I was continually astounded by how well done all of the action. There are incredible hand-to-hand fight sequences in this movie,
Mm,
which is something that I remembered happening. I didn't remember that they were that good.
mm.
Uh, it's so clearly like The Matrix has just concluded, and now we're going to
Right.
take this franchise into this particular direction now that we have like, $50 million to cook with.
Yeah, there
And
was
it's
a period of like maybe 10 to 15 years where like the coolest fucking thing you could do was make a sci-fi movie about a group of guys on like a ship. Like that
and
obviously that's like Star Trek, but I'm talking like, they're bounty hunters or they're fucking whatever. They're like
yeah,
pirates of some kind,
a- a- a-
smugglers.
and the thing about this is that it's still the coolest thing that you can do. Uh,
Correct.
this movie is shot by Jack
That's why
Green.
Alien Resurrection doesn't completely suck. It's because it's got just a
Yeah,
whiff of that energy.
Ron Perlman being
Mhm.
weird. Uh, but this guy, Jack Green, shot Unforgiven and The Bridges of Madison County. So
My
this
goat.
movie looks phenomenal. The CG is like it's a 2005 film, and they
Mhm.
they had a $50 million budget, so it's a little like, yeah, okay. But there's a space battle, Star Warsian space battle at the end of this movie, and it's just
Yeah.
like this is so well done.
It'll
I
be
just
10 times better than Mandalorian and Grogu. Like just to like put that out there. Like it will smash that movie into pieces easily.
This movie is
I
better than
haven't
most
seen it.
Star Wars movies.
I
So
haven't seen it in a long time. I remember it was, because I grew up in the 2000s, and so Firefly was like a thing for not just me, but like high school peers. So this was a movie I've seen a lot, but I probably haven't seen it in close to 15 years.
the 4K is well worth picking up if you don't already have it on
The
Blu-ray or
things that
anything.
I remember the most about it are like the intro scene where you're like coming down the spaceship and you're literally just kind of like tapping in with each character down along the way.
Yeah, it simulates one long take. I think there's like two or three hidden cuts, but it's
Hmm.
it's really really well done. Chiwetel Ejiofor plays Space Anton Chigurh.
Mm.
Uh, uh, this
Before
man,
anybody who knew who that was, for sure.
yeah, I think 2005 was the year that book came out. So,
Yeah.
uh, it lights out stuff. No notes. I rewatched Night of the Living Dead. I have
Yeah.
the I have the Criterion of that. That got the
Yeah. Did you
bump
get
to
the
the.
4K or the Blu-ray?
No, I got the Blu-ray a couple years
Yeah, me
ago.
me too. I
Um,
got the Blu-ray like literally a month or two before the 4K was announced. And I was like, all right, well,
all
whatever. Fine.
always the fucking way. Uh, yeah, this is still my least favorite of the trilogy, I think. But like 4 out of 5, one of the greatest directorial debuts ever. Uh, Form Perfect created a genre in its first go around that is like indelible. This movie will be ripped off until the end of time. Yeah, it's pretty great. I have more love for how expansive Dawn and Day get relative to this. Um,
Mm.
what's so great about all three of those movies is they're really like stage play ensemble pieces, and the human drama of it is so compelling
Hmm.
every time,
Mhm.
and it's always using like unknown actors in these roles, and they all like uniformly crush it. Um, yeah, one of the greatest trilogies ever. It's a shame he didn't make any more. Um, Now for first watches, I checked out the film Infested, which was on Shudder as a Shudder picture. Cole has seen this movie, I know.
Ugh.
Uh,
Ugh. Yeah. Ew.
I checked it out because the director Sebastian Vanacek is the
Oh
director
yeah.
of the upcoming Evil Dead Burn.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, okay, what's this dude's resume look like? You're tapping into the greatest horror franchise there is. So I gotta see what we're working with here. And this is largely good. It's like half hour to 45 minutes too long. There's a lot of like
Yeah,
character work that does not resonate. Um, and there are a couple spots in the end where it's like it's a little too big for its britches. Like it gets just a little silly. But so the pitch of this movie is that the residents of a French apartment building suddenly find their building overrun with an Arabian species of spider that's extraordinarily venomous and will grow many times its size. And as much as I wasn't in love with the whole thing, there are multiple points in this movie where I was like actively shuddering and like just like, oh God.
Just out of curiosity, did they consider calling it Terminator? An exterminator, I mean, not a Terminator, not a
I'm
robot,
gonna
but
say
like a
calling
guy
it
with gas.
Terminator
Yeah,
would be an
that's a little extreme.
overcorrection.
It's a little extreme. I just
You
mean a
know,
guy with poison gas. Everybody
they
get out of the
don't.
building and we just spray it the fuck down. You know, like in Breaking Bad when they get the tents and everything and they cook meth
Yeah.
in there.
So what happens here is that the cops quarantine it. This is spoilers, sort of. I'm not going to say any actual details of that. Is that the cops quarantine it, and that turns to shit, unsurprisingly. And it should be like a tight 80-minute thriller, but it's 106 minutes. But it's also the guy's feature debut, so I'm still excited, very much excited for the next Evil Dead film, and I'm glad that I checked this out.
What is Lee Cronin doing again? He's got a
The
project
Mummy.
that's okay. All right.
I,
Well, that's all right. We'll see.
I'm interested to do a straight up horror
Yeah.
version of The Mummy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Because the last two approaches have both been like that,
the
almost
action
Indiana
oriented.
Jones,
Yeah,
adventure serial kind of,
Hmm.
with a little bit of spooky undead shit mixed in.
Hmm.
yeah. I did watch Evil Dead Rise again after checking out Infested.
What a fun movie.
That's
Good movie.
spectacular. And then I watched The Wicker Man in the original in
Oh
theaters.
yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Ooh.
that's a great movie. I miss when movies were weird and
Hmm.
horny. And
Yeah. It's just like a musical out of nowhere. You're like, huh, I did not know they were going to be
yeah,
singing.
yeah. This woman is gyrating and singing across this wall. It's like the
Yeah.
horniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Christopher Lee is so good in that movie.
Oh, he's
You get to
crushing
the
it.
end, and it's pretty iconic. I won't say it just for the sake of anybody who's never seen the movie or doesn't know how it ends, but like you're like, this doesn't seem much like a horror movie to me. This just seems like people having a good time. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong with this at all.
yeah.
This is a completely normal way to react to this situation.
I mean, if you gotta give up a guy, you should give
See you
up the
later.
cop.
That's right. Toodaloo. Get the fuck
Hmm.
off my island.
It's just so funny how he's like encountering just weirdo pagan shit all across this island, and he's like, "What in the name of Jesus Christ is all this?" And I'm like, "This, oh my God! If every scene in that movie is basically that, and it's great every time." Haven't you children ever heard of Jesus? It's like, no, man, it's a pagan island. They don't got Wi-Fi. What are you talking about? So that was great. That's about all I have.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, everybody strap in because it's going to be a bit of a long segment. As you know, once we reach October, festival season really kicks off, limited rollouts really kick off. So I'm gonna start by covering the two other movies that I saw during Beyond Fest, which just wrapped up about a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks. The first one of those movies I want to discuss is Sarat, directed by Oliver Lax, winner of the jury prize at this year's Cannes Film Festival. Movie's about a man named Luis and his prepubescent son who go out into the deserts of southern Morocco in search of his daughter and the kid's sister, the older sister, who went vanishing, who vanishes from one of these raves that keep happening throughout the desert. uh, which is where just like a bunch of Europeans go out into the middle of nowhere to dance to trance music and electronic shit. And the rave that they go to gets shut down because war is breaking out between Morocco and the what Western Sahara. As you know, that's a very politically fraught area. But Luis wants to keep on searching for his daughter, so he ends up tracking a couple of other rave attendees who go out into the middle of the desert, trying to find the next location where they're gonna rave and do drugs and listen to music and have a good time. And then it turns into the Wages of Fear.
I have
And
sat up bolt right.
and not to give
Much
anything
like that movie
away,
itself does.
and
You're like,
not to
you're
yeah,
going, and somebody mentions dynamite. You're like, wait, what?
yeah. It's a movie about why white people should not be fucking around in areas that they do not belong in, nor the areas that they do not understand the political context of.
Much like The Wicker Man, some might say. I mean,
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's all
that's
white people,
all white
but
people, but yes,
Mm-hmm.
nevertheless.
But yeah, no, this movie's very well made. It's extremely tense, especially the entire third act, which I will not give away. It becomes a very, very stressful scene, and that's where it really goes full Cluzo.
Mhm.
It's Cluzo meets Tar, Bella.
So yeah, got you.
If I was
Yeah.
trying to sell
Lydia?
that, Lydia Tar would not survive in the desert. I think.
Lydia
Um,
Tarr didn't even survive academia.
oh god, she would fucking kill everyone on the set of After the Hunt. She would have Julia Roberts for breakfast. And then the other film I saw at Beyond Fest, I attended the North American premiere of Bygone's new film Resurrection. Uh,
I've probably read 5 or 6 different people write really lengthy reviews of this movie, and I still don't know what the fuck it's about. I have
I know
no idea
there's
what the
I
fuck it
know
is about.
I know there's dreams involved.
yes,
And
so
that is the extent of my knowledge.
it's a movie set in a world where humanity has unlocked immortality, but the cost of immortality is giving up your ability to dream. Some people refuse to give up their ability to dream, and it has turned them into monsters. So, of course, the people in charge are trying to figure out what goes on. So, what does that mean? You have to enter these people's different dreams to figure out. So, you go to these different times, these different stories. There's a romantic vampire story, there's a story about thieves at a temple, and you just go deeper and deeper and you peel back the layers of reality, and it's the best movie of the 2020s.
Damn.
This is picking
Second
up,
person to say that on this show.
Yeah.
So
I know, and I gotta agree, this is picking up the gauntlet that was thrown down by Mulholland Drive
Mm.
and taking it even further. It is an absolute stunner. There's a long take in here that is unbelievable, even better than the one in Long Day's Journey into Night. It is such a masterful, creative, mind blowing compendium of the last 130 years of cinema history and evolving it into something new and exciting and taking it even further beyond what we already can do. And I cannot wait for people to see this. It is opening limited in New York and Los Angeles on December 12th, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it
So
sounds right.
you guys will get it sometime
January.
yeah,
sometime
yeah,
next year.
looking forward to seeing this in March.
Yeah. What did this displace for you? I almost want to guess what it displaced because I feel like I should know what the answer is. It's not Killers of the Flower Moon, was it?
Was it Nickel
drive my
Boys? Oh, Drive My Car. Okay.
drive my car,
Okay.
drive my
Okay.
car.
Yeah, yeah. Good pick.
Yeah.
All those would be good picks. So none of those
I
are
know
bad
All
picks.
of those are high up.
Yeah,
I
I
know
know.
Nickel
Like,
Boys was
I
your
know your
favorite of.
Vortex. I know your Tar. I
Mhm.
know your 5-star selection. Basically, I wasn't sure what was number one. Yeah, Drive My Car is. I've been thinking about. I'm not diverting to talk about this, but I was thinking about that movie a little bit because of the Paul Thomas Anderson. Like that movie right now has my
Mhm.
screenplay belt. There's kind of a screenplay belt that goes from era to era. Before that, I
Yeah.
was the reason was thinking about it was because of Phantom Thread was
Mm.
the belt holder before that, and before that it was probably Farhadi's A Separation. So
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on the movie. Like there's movies I like more than Drive My Car in the 2020s, but that's still
Mhm.
holding that belt firmly for me.
Yeah. But yeah,
That
no,
would
this is
go to That goes to Banshees for me,
Mm,
which I think
Hmm.
is t I think rather tellingly is I had to think about it after one battle, and I think that's still my favorite of the decade thus far.
mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, still
Okay.
waiting for somebody to come through. There's a lot of stuff that's been, yeah, but like the Bygone movie, for instance, sounds like it's
Yeah,
very
it's an
visual, very
absolute
cinematic.
knockout.
You know, the
Yeah.
way that you described it made me think of the way that you described the Raduju Dracula movie. It's interesting
Hmm.
to think that they're both a little bit more vignette-ish. Maybe not totally like anthological, but like made up of all these
Hmm.
like little
Yeah.
riffs and
Resurrection
stories.
is more evenly chaptered.
Well, no shit.
Yeah, like for example, the entire opening is just like a love letter to Murnau and 1920s
Mm,
expressionism
the
in
fucking
some
Robert
really
Eggers shut
awesome
the fuck up
ways.
moment. Get off the stage.
More
I'm
or
kidding.
less, honestly. I mean, if we're going blow for blow,
Everybody here loves the Nosferatu movie. That's all I'm gonna say as a
we
Yeah,
do, we
buffer
do,
for that
we do.
comment.
We love the guy. But yeah, no, this is one of the best things I've seen in ages and ages and ages. Cannot recommend it enough. And then after that, I had to go back to Hollywood Reality with Smashing Machine, which was very,
Yeah.
mid. But I did that as a triple feature. I did that with
Uh,
Anemone, the
which was
return,
also, yeah, nah,
yeah,
eh,
the
eh.
return of Daniel Day-Lewis to our screens after 8 long years. I hope.
Whose lion ass immediately got on camera and was like, "I never said I retired, bro. You said that you were fucking stop.
do,
You said you were gonna stop making movies. How the fuck do you want people to interpret that
I
with
like
love and respect?"
Dan. I don't know how else I'm supposed to take that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't leave much room for interpretation.
To be fair, I don't think he was being like hyper hypocritical. He basically just said like, "Why would I deny the chance to like work with my kid?" Which was like, I think that's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
However the
yeah,
movie came out, however good,
yeah.
however bad, like
His
I still
his
think that's cool.
son's directorial debut, which is about um a broken family in Ireland where two brothers, one living in isolation in the middle of the woods, who used to be part of the Black and Tans, I guess.
Mm.
Basically committed war crimes and feels really bad about it, so he's isolated himself. And then his brother, who notices that their son is having struggles connecting with people in school and stuff, visits him to try to reach out to say, "Hey, you need to come back. You need to tell your son, violence is not the answer. Yada yada yada. How to be a better person, all that." The brother is played by Sean Bean. Sean Bean, who does not
Yeah.
die in this movie.
Yeah.
One of the few times I've ever seen him live, to be frank.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very pretty movie. I mean, you can't fuck up Ireland on film, but
That's true.
I cannot lie. I almost fell asleep multiple times during the
Yeah.
first hour of this 2 hour movie that probably should have been like a half-hour short film.
Yeah.
And like DDL gets the monologues, he fucking crushes them.
Yeah.
But
Sounds
we
right.
we expect him to crush it,
Hmm.
and he does great, but
I knew this shit was in rocky territory when all of the marketing was Daniel Day-Lewis is making his return to movies
mhm,
and nothing else.
yeah.
When there is nothing else to talk about, then there's nothing going on with
Mhm.
the movie. Like you are leaning on the almost stunt casting. You could almost consider it stunt casting.
Yeah, honestly, because like almost the mythical status he has now is like one of our
Hmm.
great thespians.
Sure.
And
And I
I
mean,
hope
I'm sure that almost everybody that saw the movie saw it for that reason. That was what made them interested in seeing it.
it is literally the only reason I walked into the theater.
So
I
it's
thought
not, I don't,
this I thought the trailer looked intriguing. I hadn't consumed any other bit of marketing about it. I
Hmm.
mean, just the fact that the headline is Daniel Day-Lewis is returning to acting is
Mhm.
the marketing in itself. That's the only thing I need to see of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh, but hearing that it's pretty much dead on arrival from everyone who's seen it, basically,
Hmm.
I'm just like, okay, maybe I'll watch it on
Yeah.
VOD.
Yeah. I
Of the Daniel Day-Lewis clan or of the Day-Lewis household, I'm much more interested in Rebecca Miller's five-part Mr. Scorsese documentary that
I've
will
heard it's
probably start
good.
tonight.
I've heard it's good. But yeah, so I hope he signs up for another project soon. I hope this isn't just a one-off, but it was nice to see him on a movie screen again, and that's all I'll
Hmm.
say about that.
Hmm.
And then I closed out that triple feature with the hit horror movie of the year for the millennials and the dog lovers, Good Boy.
Mm.
Uh, a
Courage the
movie
Cowardly Dog.
a movie about a guy who moves out to the middle of nowhere to his dead grandfather's home, and things go bump in the night, but he can't recognize it, and only the dog can. You say courage. It's less that, and frankly, it's more Babadook
Okay.
in what it's
Well,
trying to be.
why though?
I'm sleepy.
I know. I love that movie, man. I mean, I fucking love The Babadook, and I
Oh
love
yeah.
other movies that have come since that have tried to
Hmm.
do the thing, but like, fucking why? It sounds like a cartoon. It sounds like, why are we doing grief stuff, man? Come on.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that at 70 minutes, it already feels too long.
Yeah,
There's just
that's
not much of a
tough.
story here. It feels more proof of concept than anything else. And
It it
they
feels to me like and we could always sort of but like it feels like a 10 to 12 minute short film where like the bit is okay. Actually, there's a common Looney Tunes setup. Porky the pig goes to some haunted place. Sylvester the cat notices that there are like mice in the house doing, evil tr things and he's trying to save, Elmer Fudd or whatever. And it goes all no Porky Pig, not Elmer Fudd, sorry.
Yeah, no
But he
one's
tries to
saving
save
Elmer.
Porky, and it keeps like there's like these mishaps and mishaps and mishaps, and then like they survive the night and drive off in the morning. And Porky's usually like, "Why are you such an asshole, you little who's been protecting him the whole time?" Like it's a
Hmm.
joke. It's a 7 minute cartoon setup.
Yeah, not
I
enough
could also see
material
like
for.
I could also see like a version where it's like the dog is overreacting to like these things are not really whatever direction you pull it in, but it's not, it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like a feature. It
Oh
feels
no,
again like a
they're
stunt to be like, we need to nominate the dog for the Oscar or whatever.
This is what I was gonna mention
they
is that
give
like
votes.
y'all know me. I got three dogs. One of
Yeah,
them decides to make an appearance on this show every now and then. Shut the fuck up with that.
yeah.
Oh my God.
And
I'm so deeply unserious.
it's an okay dog performance. Frankly, the dog is not as compelling as the dog in Anatomy of a Fall, who still remains the pinnacle of canine acting this decade, honestly.
Okay, I thought you were gonna go bigger and we were gonna have to do a reproof, but go on.
It's clearly
It's
the
clearly a
thing.
dog in the thing. Yeah, it's
I
clearly
mean,
that.
well,
That's
look,
the best dog.
well,
Genuinely, if we were gonna give
There's
a
the
dog an Oscar, that it was that one.
not,
it's the scene where he fucking walks down the hall and
uh-huh.
like turns to look in and the camera pans and then he like does a move and you're like, how did you get the dog to do that?
You ever
Yeah,
been
like
around a husky?
genuinely fucking
Yeah,
great.
They're
they don't fucking.
gibbering insane.
This is the whole thing with dogs
My
is that
mother
like
owns a husky. They are psychotic.
if you
Yeah.
were going to give an award, it would be for the animal handling team. And
Hmm.
the animal could be part of it or whatever. Like we were talking about Banshees of Inisherin, EO, you know, I love a good animal on screen. The dog does not fucking know what is happening. The dog
Yeah.
is just in a room with some people going, I'm a dog,
And,
like he's not an actor.
and they make it clear the best part of this movie, spoilers, I guess, is the final 5 minutes after the credits, where it's just like a behind the scenes doc of them filming this movie in their home
Yeah,
for over 300 days, just fucking around
it
and
probably makes the movie
playing with the dog.
retrospectively more impressive to see that he's
Hmm.
just like a normal dog. There's nothing special about him. So
Yeah,
then
it's
you
like,
see
oh,
him.
he's just a
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, the biggest mark I'll give, the marketing around this movie killed any tension it could have, because everyone was like, oh my God, I'm not going to watch it if the dog dies. I'm not going to watch it if the dog dies. I'm going to show you Lamb Without Bread. I'm going to force feed you Lamb Without Bread. And I'm going to show you the goats getting shot in the head. How about
Yeah.
that?
Blood of the beast, baby. In a year with 13 moons.
Apocalypse Now.
Yep.
But
Fucking
yeah, no, I mean, that just, it kills the fucking tension to know that the dog's not going to die. Sorry,
yeah.
you ruined your own movie.
Quit being babies.
Grow up.
Well, look, I mean, I don't want to watch a movie where the dog dies.
Well,
But
too
if you
bad.
have to, but if you have to be like, no, the dog
I'm
doesn't
not
die in this
saying
movie
like,
to get people to see it, then
mm-hmm.
maybe you should rethink the entire prospect.
Yeah. I'm not saying we need to see like the dog get like gutted on screen and like have his spinal cord ripped out.
No,
But
the
you
point
know,
isn't even about the dog dying or not dying. The point is
yeah,
about not
the tension.
it's not fucking coddling people who have a whatever. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want to fucking watch a movie where something dies, don't watch a movie. Like just I'm sorry, like pick another thing to do today. I get you. I understand. But like, that fucking dog dies in the thing, although he's not really a dog. He's the thing. But, you know,
The
You know,
dogs that are dogs die.
they do. That's
Yeah.
true. Pretty badly.
if you are watching a movie, it is likely that the dog has died at this point.
Yeah, there you go.
They got short lifespans.
They do. That's true.
Toto's been dead for decades.
Yep.
Toto's burial site got paved over for a highway.
The Yellow Brick Road, if you like.
Oh God, we're not calling the 405 that. But on a happier note, now we're getting to like better stuff. Now that Hollywood triple features out of the way. I saw J Lo's new musical film, Kiss of the Spider Woman, directed by Bill Condon, based on the novel by Manuel Puig, which was also adapted into a 1985 film starring William Hurt. Or was it John Hurt?
No, it's William.
Okay, it was William. Yeah, Oscar-winning
I,
movie.
I remember it because I went, why is William Hurt playing a guy named Luis? What's happening here?
Hector Babenco directed.
Mm-hmm. Episode.
Yep.
This movie has slightly more accurate casting. This movie has Diego Luna from
Yep.
Andor as Luis, an angry uh leftist revolutionary who's locked up in a prison in Argentina in 1983. And his cellmate is Molina, played by Tonatia here, a person who was arrested for open homosexual activity, and he's being used as an informant to try to get names out of Luis. So to try to get Luis to open up and talk about his life, Molina shares his stories with him and shares his favorite movie, Kiss of the Spider Woman, which in the 1985 film is a Nazi propaganda pic, but in this movie is a 1950s Freed Unit MGM style musical, which also has its story significantly reworked to fit the life story of Jennifer Lopez, who plays the actress in the movie and is the titular Spider Woman.
Who plays
Uh,
Ben Affleck?
you know, because one of them is Ben and one of them is definitely Matt. Ben and Matt were both executive producers on this movie, which could mean nothing. Which could mean nothing.
I will
Uh,
say that in the
Somebody's brought
novel,
it up once, at least one time. Somebody's brought it up.
in the Manuel Puig novel, it's like shifting story. There are multiple
mhm,
films. So like the first film is based on Cat People, the
mhm,
1942 movie. The second one's based on the Nazi propaganda film. So it's they're
yeah.
giving you a little bit of options there.
Mhm.
But there's
There,
definitely with Puig, there's always a little bit of that like Hollywood mystique. You should really his debut novel is oh, why am I not thinking about it? I just sent it to you the other day. I need to
the
look
Rita
at.
Hayworth book.
Yes, yes, yes. It's like Deceived by Rita Hayworth. Betrayed by Rita Hayworth is the name of it.
Mhm,
Really worth. Like it's just it's a it's that collision of like colonialism and like media where like the movie's got like a magic spell power that it has over people just with the image and the magic of the movies, the stuff we
mhm,
talk about all the time, but how there's also like a cultural transmission that can be a little poisonous, that can be a little bit, negative, which obviously talking about a Nazi propaganda film is a great example of that as well.
yeah. And in this movie, it's J Lo as like denialism of the reality that you live in
Mhm.
and of being apolitical, which is an interesting performance for her to play. It's her best performance easily since Hustlers,
Sure.
because basically she just has to play the movie star. She has to play the
Mhm.
siren, and she
Right.
knocks that out of the park. Great dance numbers too. I love that this is a musical that isn't afraid to show us the dance numbers
Yeah.
and let us see people actually move. So thank you, Bill Condon,
Yeah.
director of Dreamgirls and other movies
And
that I will not be mentioning.
yeah, certain wolves and vampires and towns in Washington where they don't get a lot of sunlight.
Yeah, and
Not
also
nearly the
uh,
greatest of his crimes, though.
yeah, the candelabra might have been worse.
Mm.
There's no might have been.
But yeah, no, honestly, I like this. This is a pretty solid movie. I would recommend checking it out if you can. And then this weekend, right before AF5 Fest begins here in LA, everybody just decided to open at the same fucking time. All the limited releases are coming out at once. So the first of those I'm gonna bring up is Blue Moon. The first of two films by Richard Linklater coming out this month. This one focuses on Lorenz Hart, the former longtime uh, collaborator of Rogers before Roger went with Hammerstein for Oklahoma onwards. And the movie set the opening night of Oklahoma
Bro is
at
already in that
Sardi's.
merrily we roll along headspace. That is just like,
Yeah,
hey, huh?
yeah,
I wonder
yeah.
what inspired you to do this one.
Apparently, he sent Ethan Hawke the script for this like 12 years ago, and Ethan was like, "I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready." He's like, "No, you gotta get it. You gotta grow. You gotta get
You have to,
older. You gotta
you
get
must
older.
be
I'll let you
old.
know when you're ready." And this movie is basically 100 minutes of just watching an artist self-destruct
Mm.
because Lorenz is absolutely bitter and sad and an extreme alcoholic, which is what led to the breakup of that duo. And you're just watching him like regale these grand old stories while concealing, he's the saddest, loneliest little man in the world. And like little he gets off the booth at the bar and it's the same height as it basically. It's always like a jump scare whenever they show how short Ethan Hawke is in this movie. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? Like, what? And it's Ethan's best turn since First Reformed and one of the best of his career. It is a genuinely great performance.
Trying to think what the hell else he's been in. I know I can think of a few things, but nothing that really leaps out as like, oh yeah, that was major.
The standout of the past like 5 years for me was the show The Good Lord Bird, which I did
Mm.
not finish, but he plays
Mm.
the abolitionist John Brown. Uh,
Uh,
and if you know
It's a
John
very
Brown,
Ethan Hawke kind of role.
yeah,
mhm.
if you know anything about John Brown, you know that he was out of his mind.
Mm.
So he's just full bore Ethan Hawke
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah. And so he spends like a good part of this movie like begging Bobby Cannavale for another drink, even though he swears he's not going to have another one. He keeps hyping up how close he is with Margaret Qualley's character, even though not really at all. Just like they only share stories and that's it. Uh, a good chunk of this movie is basically a guy pining over Margaret Qualley, even though it's never going to happen for him.
I mean, who among us? Fucking
Uh,
Antonov.
Andrew Scott plays Rogers in this movie, and he's really good. And a couple of scenes he has with Hawk, where it's just like the tension of years and years of tough working relationships is boiling over. And yeah, I would recommend this. I saw this at the same time as Bruce Valanche, who was at the other end of the row. And between the two of us, it was like a contest to see whose laughter was going to fill up the auditorium the fastest. It was just like, that's the fun of LA. You never know who you're going to see a movie with.
Yeah.
And then the other film I saw that night is the other movie that came out this year that I have 5 stars so far.
Mm.
This is Jafar Panahi's It Was Just an Accident, this year's Palme d'Or winner. This film is about a group of people who were arrested after going on strike for better wages and to get paid and spent months in prison being tortured and harassed and intimidated. And after this one man accidentally runs over a dog on the road at night, he has to go into a garage to get his car fixed. And the owner of the garage realizes that this is the man who tortured him for months and months and months because he can recognize the sounds of the man's peg leg. So what does he do? He follows the guy out the next day, knocks him out with a shovel, takes him out into the middle of the desert, digs a big old hole, puts him in there, just about to leave him to die. And yet the guy's ID doesn't match. And he swears that he's not the torturer. So what does he do? He takes the guy out of the hole, puts him back in his van, puts him in a box, locks it up, and drives around town picking up people to ask, hey, is this the guy who tortured us or not? I really want to get rid of him. It's basically what if you took the cask of Amontillado, but Montresor was a fucking idiot. It is the most tense I've been in a theater all year.
There's such a how do you even say this? Like whether it's Kiarostami or Farhadi or Panahi, there's just such a like character to these like Iranian dramas where it's just like what if a guy fucking was in a terrible moral conundrum that reflected the degraded state of the nation of Iran and our morals and scruples and religious beliefs.
Yeah.
And they're all like that and they all
Mm-hmm.
cook.
And this feels like a natural continuation of all the documentaries that Panahi's been making over the
Hmm.
years.
Hmm.
I mean, this is his first narrative feature film in I believe 2 decades, if not
No,
longer.
No Bears
Well,
is
No Bears is like half and half.
yeah, it's slippery, but I think there's more narrative there than documentary, I would say.
Yeah,
Like
but
the
this is
thing that happens, the way that it ends, there's like a dramatic
mhm.
element.
Yeah, but this is like flat out narrative, no documentary. The cast is absolutely incredible. It's probably the most fully fleshed out cast of characters
Mm,
that I've seen this year. And just watching them interact in the ways that they feel about this person who tortured them for years and how they want to treat him in return, and just the arguments that
fucking
spark up
sympathy for
over,
Lady Vengeance.
like, yeah, and just like, hey, do we just kill this guy immediately? Do we drag him out to the middle of nowhere? And just the escalating tension over the course of the film is almost unbearable at points. I cannot recommend this highly enough. Absolutely see it when you can. It came out October 15th in New York and LA. It's going to be rolling out over the next few weeks, I believe. Probably will get to you guys soon because it is
We'll
an Iran
definitely get a Palme
release.
d'Or winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Cannot recommend
remember
this
I don't
enough.
remember if we got No Bears. I definitely like watched it as like a pirated thing. I did not see that in
Mm-hmm.
theaters. I can't remember if we got that or not, but it feels like we'll get this.
This one has the Palm winner behind
Has
it.
this
So,
been banned in Iran or not?
well,
I wonder if they
Iran was
know it
not happy.
exists.
Oh, they know it exists. They're not happy.
I,
Yeah.
I'm
Literally
shocked.
literally the second that it won, they went uh and complained on air. They were like, "Oh, you guys think you're making such a statement when France doesn't even give a fuck about Gaza?" And it's like,
Damn,
well,
damn.
Huh.
well,
The
well,
girls are
well,
fighting.
well, and there are no winners.
Mm,
There are no winners. But yeah,
hmm.
no, this is a
Big Panahi
career.
continuing the bleak streak, eh?
Yep, and to a career highlight.
Mm.
So I am thrilled that this movie exists. I'm glad that it's getting the release that it is. I believe that France is selecting it as their Oscar contender this year.
Gotcha.
So
Well, they were not
It's probably not
wild
going to be
about
around.
Alpha, so yeah.
which is playing all the way out in fucking Covina for 1 week, and that's like 30 miles away. What the hell, people?
What's that?
It it's playing in Covina, which is
Alpha.
like 30 miles
Yes.
Alpha, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
playing in Covina, 30 miles away. So
Yeah.
it's like I have to go to Covina or I have to go to the Bronx. Great idea.
We'll get that because we got Teton, I would think. But yeah, who knows when it's gonna land.
Probably a spring release.
Hmm. Let's put it out now. What are we doing?
Qualifying runs. That's what we're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Shit annoys me. Just release your movie, please. Distribute the film.
Hmm.
It's not a difficult concept.
They'll get to it. They'll get to it. But
the,
the
the
people
idea that this one is properly divisive actually excites me.
Mm.
I've heard really good things from the people who have ventured out to see it. So I'm excited.
I was a
Uh,
little off the gauge with people who were like wild and crazy about Tetons. So like
Yeah, me too.
the opinions of others mean very little to me. I will see it no
mhm.
matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last two movies I'm going to bring up. So first, I saw the Kelly Reichardt
Mm,
picture, The Mastermind,
right.
which stars Josh O'Connor as a failed son architect and art thief in 1970s Massachusetts who pulls off a heist at the Framingham Museum of Art, stealing valuable Arthur Dove paintings. But when things go sideways, he finds himself on the run, bouncing around rural location to rural location to Cincinnati, just trying to lay low and stay out of the eyes of the law. This is an anti-thriller in every sense of the word. Completely the opposite if it was just an accident. This is a movie about how the people who commit these kind of heists and then, abandon their families and fuck off to wherever are kind of the worst people you know.
Yeah.
They're so
Fargo-esque.
detached, just so detached from reality that eventually it's their own downfall. And O'Connor's great at playing an absolute just scumbag sad sack.
Hmm.
Alana Haim plays his wife. She's really good in this. She doesn't have a
Yeah, I'm
lot of
excited
screen
to see
time,
her. Yeah, I'm
but
kind of
she's good.
interested and excited to see her
Yeah. And
in
she
this
just
context.
she looks like she came out of like a time machine from 70s Massachusetts. So
For sure, for sure.
They all have that face.
Gabby Hoffman's really great in a scene she has
Oh,
in
my girl.
this. She's really good. Bill Camp is very good for what
Yeah,
he's got.
always.
But yeah, no, great cast, great performances,
Magaro, Johnny Boy.
very good.
Yeah,
Great
nice.
autumnal cinematography. I mean, it's New
Yeah,
England in the fall. Like, come on.
that. Yeah,
It's
sounds
gonna
awesome.
look good no matter what you can.
Yep.
I can definitely see why would be divisive, but I thought this was pretty good.
Yeah, there's a degree to which you're either gonna fuck with Kelly Reichardt or you're not. I think that she's got a
Yeah,
few
I
like,
feel like the responses to all her films have been extremely tepid for like the last 15 years on a broad scale, not like obviously the Rijkaard fanboys
Mhm. I mean,
are all in.
the funny thing about this is that this movie was chosen as the AMC Screen Unseen and Regal mystery movie
mm,
last week. So the idea of just springing Kelly Reichardt on
yeah,
unsuspecting masses is really fucking funny to me.
yeah. I feel like Wendy and Lucy is probably the most universal thing that she's got. And then otherwise it's like, yeah, I mean like
Yeah,
have you guys seen Night Moves? Like are you familiar with her game? 'Cause like this is what the movies are
yeah,
like. Like that
yeah,
that seems to be
yeah,
the mode that this is in
yeah,
for the
yeah.
most part.
This is more Night Moves territory.
Yeah, there's a heist, but it's happening in slow motion and it's more about like the aftermath and the psychology and the consequences and the
Yeah,
paranoia or whatever. That's how that movie
exactly.
is. But just like it's this,
The living with the guilt.
mhm. The setup makes me think Coen Brothers, but she's just so much more like, yeah, lingering, uh,
Yeah,
fucking Barbara Loden's Wanda. Watch Barbara Loden's Wanda, and you will understand the whole
that
energy.
movie rules. That
It's
movie
very
rules.
sad.
It's essential viewing.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
essential Pennsylvania cinema.
and then I know I've been talking for a long time. I got one more thing. This is just a preview for like how long I'm gonna be yakking on our first post AFI Fest episode. But the next thing I'm gonna close out with is Guillermo del Toro's
Ah,
Frankenstein.
indeed. Seeing this one on
Dr.
35 millimeter next week.
Dr.
I saw it.
Frankenstein.
I saw it on 35 millimeter at the Egyptian Theater. Uh, this is his adaptation of Mary Shelley's seminal novel, and I think he's back on the right track.
Yeah, that's good.
Nightmare Alley, miss. Pinocchio,
Nightmare
bad.
Alley is okay.
But no, I
I like that movie a great deal. I just skipped out entirely on Pinocchio. Not any real reason for
No,
that. I was just like,
Pinocchio is the.
a whole bunch of nothing.
I think
well,
Nightmare
I was
Alley
just like,
works, but if you've seen the 40s one with Tyrone Powers, it's just like,
Yeah,
oh, fuck this. Like,
oh please, the 1947 one wipes the fucking floor with
I
it.
think that Guillermo del Toro probably knows that. He's like, he probably thinks that
I,
movie's like a five-star masterpiece and like understood that he was,
Yeah,
reaching for the stars a little.
yeah, just a wee bit. But this movie is very loyal to the book, even in structure. Of course, it makes some changes to it. Like this one has a lot more daddy issues going on in it that I
Yeah.
frankly do not care for.
It
I
it
think,
feels, as somebody who hasn't seen it, it feels like we're getting into a sort of like Geppetto and Pinocchio sort of like Oscar Isaac has a young Guillermo del Toro's haircut in this movie, and it's like about like the creator and their
yes,
creation. So like the
yes,
daddy issues, like it clearly
yeah,
seems to be leaning
yeah.
hard on those elements.
movie about
Oscar
the making
Isaac
movie about
is
the making of Mimic.
Oscar Isaac is on something in this. I don't know if I'm entirely on the wavelength, but he is going for it.
Sure.
Uh,
That's
Mia
good.
Goth,
I like that.
Mia Goth is pretty solid. She's just like a natural fit for the Del Toro
the Mia
the thing.
Wasikowska role
Yeah,
of the
exactly,
lady of the puffy
exactly.
sleeves.
Yes, this movie is very Crimson Peaks esque.
Well, that's not my favorite mode of anything.
The one unequivocally great thing about this is Jacob Elordi's performance. He is genuinely fucking fantastic as the monster. He nails the anger, the rage, the despair, the emotion, and the physicality. I mean, dude's already tall as fuck, but like make him even bigger as the monster. And he just completely goes for broke on it. He is so locked in. And yeah, it's a genuinely great performance. Probably one of the better depictions of the monster, if I'm being honest,
Mm.
in
There's
film.
not there's not like a serious Frankenstein movie that I like. I really like the movie Bride of Frankenstein. I think that's just like a
Mhm.
fucking killer universal horror picture. Has
Yeah.
nothing to do with Frankenstein the novel.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even
And,
really think of it in that
and
canon.
and
It's their own thing.
Karloff is like the gold standard, of course.
Yeah, I don't care about that movie at all. Like I'm sorry, it's a personal bug, but like why are we doing this? This is not the
I
story.
I haven't
It's
seen any of
okay.
them. I don't care. I don't care. Like the book is the book, and that's yeah.
This is probably the most loyal adaptation we're gonna get of the book.
Sure.
Like, it's got the Arctic stuff at the beginning and all that, which
Hmm.
the action in this movie is pretty good. When not Frankenstein, the monster,
Hmm.
it's all the same to me, if I'm being honest. The
I mean,
monster
it's his
just goes
son, so
ape shit on these sailors. I'm like, ooh, fuck yeah. But, you know, good production design, probably gonna look like shit on Netflix, which is,
Yeah,
infuriating, but also, he made the deal with Netflix at the end of the day, so it is what it is. But
right.
big, big, big sets,
There will be
big,
a
big
good Criterion
costumes.
disc at the end of the day because
Yeah,
I think they pretty much have a deal
exactly.
with him to like put those things out. They're
Yeah.
like the last Netflix releases they put out on
Mm,
disc, as far as I know. So for
and they
Pinocchio.
got they got they got like all of his, but the Hellboys and the Blade Twos of the world.
Hmm.
yeah, exactly.
So
Well, and Pacific Rim, they're not putting that out anytime soon.
That goes in the Hellboy twos and the Blade twos and of the
Yeah.
yeah,
world to me.
Yeah, no, no, no. But this
I'm
one's
interested, but my expectations are at like base level.
mhm,
I will ultimately be harsher on this than I need to be. I know myself enough to know this.
yeah. And you can
I'm
tell that he loves the story.
Yeah, that's
I'm
good.
I'm always excited to see a Dan Laustsen shot
Yeah.
picture in a theater.
I have
So
I have exactly the same skepticisms that I had with Eggers Nosferatu, which I already riffed on earlier. But at least with that, I know he's still got like a nasty fastball. Like when he wants to, he just like breaks your arms off. And I haven't really had that experience with Del Toro. I mean, Del Toro's really not even that guy. He's not even that same
No,
person.
no,
So
he's a sentimentalist.
absolutely. Like so we'll see what the angle is here and how well
Mhm.
it works. I would
there's some parts of Pan's Labyrinth that broke my arms off,
100%, a
but
Oh yeah,
hundred percent, yeah. But
yeah.
it's been a
But
long time since we've seen that.
I mean, honestly, if Pan's Labyrinth, I don't want to say feels like a fluke, but it's just like such a clear standout in a filmography.
well, it's the one that he wanted to make his entire career clearly, and was kind. It feels like the final word on Del Toro,
It's
and
not an
everything after.
adaptation, but
Yeah,
it's this mixology of all these things that he really likes, like different authors and different artists.
Yeah,
Obviously, Spirit of the Beehive, which is such a looming influence on both that and
yeah.
Devil's Backbone. So he's like a guy who is steeped in his influences, but that's the part where it feels like he's making the most personal
Mhm,
statement. I've always really enjoyed Hellboy 2 because he doesn't, even though that comic is so incredible and you could adapt any part of those comics by Mike Mignola, he chooses to write his own story. Like he chooses to
mhm,
kind of add his own legend to that cycle, and that's a really great direction for him to run in.
mhm.
I think that the more that he adapts, like the Nightmare Alley, the Pinocchio, just whatever, the less interested I ultimately am. Just
What
because
what
it
what
where
feels
are
I
like
you
was
gonna
he's in. It
yeah.
feels like he's coasting.
like set dressing mode? I'm gonna put a style over the top of a story you're familiar with, and like
What
that's
I've
cool.
what I have described as Tim
Hmm.
Burtonification.
He's better than Tim Burton when Tim Burton hit that skid, I
I
would
mean,
say.
yeah,
None of these
yeah,
are as bad as like a
and
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or whatever.
it
or
must be he's
Dark
better than
Shadows.
It must be said he's better than Tim Burton was at his best. So
They're relative peaks, yeah.
Yeah,
clearing.
I was gonna say, what do I like better, Batman Returns or Pan's Labyrinth?
Clearly Pan's Labyrinth.
What an insane sentence.
It's not just that either.
The Gospel of Michelle Pfeiffer will save you.
It's an amazing movie. That's my favorite movie of both of those two directors. But I feel like Tim Burton's got more great movies, but they're all from like a very limited window of time in his career. And then after that, he just started turning in doo-doo. And
Literally, this
I don't feel like Del Toro is in doo-doo mode. I don't think that I mean, if Pinocchio's as bad as it gets, that movie, one, people love it, and two, it's not terrible. I just didn't like it at all.
great gowns,
Yeah,
beautiful gowns.
that's more than I can say about Tim
That
Burton at his
yeah,
lowest.
that
Yeah,
Del Toro is never going to make an ugly movie. He
no,
Yeah,
doesn't.
and
He does,
Burton's got
yeah.
some
yeah.
nasty looking
Alice in
nonsense in
Wonderland
there.
is maybe the ugliest thing I've
It's
ever seen in
really
my
bad.
life.
Now, some of his dog
Only
shit
rivaled by
movies,
Planet of the
I
Apes.
was gonna say that movie actually for me, I like the ape costumes and
Yeah,
stuff. Like there are things about it that are kind of great gowns,
The
beautiful
makeup is
gowns.
good makeup.
in
Yeah,
general, it looks a hell of a lot better than like Dark Shadows, even.
sure.
Oh
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
God.
But like even then, I don't think Del
Or
Toro has ever turned
Miss
in anything
Peregrine's
that's
Home for Abandoned Orphans or
that's not one
whatever
of
the
his.
fuck.
That's somebody else.
No, that's
You,
him.
No, it's
no,
Tim
it's
Burton.
not. No,
Yeah,
it
it
Tim
is.
isn't.
Burton.
Yes, it
Miss
is.
Peregrine's
You
Home
guys
for
are lying to
Wayward
me.
Children. That is Tim Burton 2016.
You are fucking with me.
Nope.
I am not lying. You
So
think
the
a
only
movie with
reason,
Ava Green in dark fantasy mode is not Tim Burton?
I thought it was ripping off Tim Burton.
nope.
No, that's
Well,
the that's
I
him.
mean, kind of.
I mean, he's been ripping off himself for how many years at this point?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Wow.
I
What
watched
was
like
a
I watched like 3 episodes of Wednesday.
oh
That shit
god.
is that's fucking dog water.
You know how
Yeah.
bad things have to be for us for you to beg you to get back to Sweeney Todd quality.
I don't want to talk about that.
Fucking Beetlejuice Legacy sequels kill me.
uh Betelgeuse squared.
I have at least one friend who prefers Beetlejuice to the original Beetlejuice,
That's
which makes me
psychotic.
it makes me feel about as insane as any opinion ever has.
That is psychotic.
Haven't seen either of them. I'm fine.
The
I don't
first
like it.
one's a
You
great
should watch the
picture.
first one.
It's a
First
great
one's
movie.
good.
I'm
It's really
sure
fun.
that I don't like that man is the
Michael
thing.
Keaton
Michael
fucking
Keaton rules.
whips. Yeah, he's so good.
I've seen all the clips of that though.
And well, but what about like it's
Because
so good.
it's really more about
Yeah, but like who's a guy that you don't like?
Somebody who doesn't have as many good movies as Tim Burton has. I don't know. I can't think of a guy off the top of my head. There are guys I dislike a lot, but they're mostly like you would agree that they have nothing. Like I dislike Michael Bay, right?
oh
Like
oh oh, oh.
obviously
Oh my god,
nothing good there.
what's his name? The guy from Across the Universe.
Well, that's an actor, but the Jim Sturgis. I like the director of that movie,
Julie Taymor.
Julie Taymor, yeah, Titus and all them.
Like I've just said I don't really like Edward Scissorhands.
I don't really like Edward Scissorhands either. I mean, I like it, but
It's
I don't think it's
solid.
amazing. Good production design. That's like where we start to really veer into
Yeah.
great gowns, beautiful gowns with him in the early
Diane,
90s.
you know who's really good in that movie? Diane
Diane
Wiest.
Wiest. Yeah, 100%. Why am I not thinking of the gal in in Home
Winona
Alone?
Ryder.
No, 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 the mom.
Oh,
Oh
uh,
god.
oh,
Catherine
oh,
O'Hara.
Thank you.
yeah,
I was getting stuck on Keener and I
Love
knew it
her.
wasn't
yeah.
Catherine Keener. Yeah, Catherine O'Hara in that movie fucking phenomenal. The dude who plays Odo in that movie, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's like the real soul and spirit of the movie are these like two awful yuppies who are like, yeah, it's awesome. The movie's amazing. It's really, really good. Amazing is an oversell, but it's one of my favorites by him for
I'll
sure.
do it if we like zoom it or something.
It'd be an amazing zoom. Yeah, it's one of those where
It
I
would be a fun
expect you're gonna
Zoom.
top out at like a 3 to a 3.5 kind of thing and
Mhm.
be like, I like this, but
Yeah.
I don't see you being over the moon about it. Kind of
Yeah.
like the Wes Craven movie Cole saw last night.
Yeah. So yeah, Frankenstein's solid. Good, not great, but we're back on track. So excited to see whatever he does next. Yeah, no, and then I got to see Scream last night in a theater at Vidiots.
How many
Uh
was it like sold out? Were there a lot of people there?
oh my god, it was sold out.
Dude,
Yeah,
dude.
everyone
Oh my
going
God.
fucking nuts.
It's so fucking fun with like 500 people in the room. Like it's unreal.
Raucous applause for Gale Weathers.
Like just insane energy.
Everyone going nuts for Sydney.
I it's so fun. I don't know.
Billy, Billy and Stu
Iconic.
riots in the aisles.
Iconic.
I'll give you Matthew Lillard. I will happily give you that.
Yeah.
My mom and dad are going to be so mad at me.
You
Everything
really
else in
hurt
that
me bad, man.
everything else in that fucking movie is like, I too have seen a horror picture. Shut
Yes.
up.
Henry Winkler in that movie. Oh my god.
Just no
The scene where he's
meaningful.
reprimanding the two
It just
pranksters in his
opens
office.
up on, I mean, everybody knows this, and I think some of the starch goes out of it because the surprise is not the surprise that it would have been in the year
Yeah.
1996. I get that. But
Yeah.
damn, that opening scene is so
Is
fucking good.
so is that the best scene in Wes Craven's career?
No. I don't know what is, but it's something in the movie Nightmare on Elm Street and not this. But
This opening scene is just so incredibly tense, even with the surprise factor removed.
it's really good. I think it was actually Jake who is similarly agnostic on the film, like likes it but doesn't love it, had to be
Mhm.
kind of talked into liking it kind of situation.
Yeah.
But like it's the way that Ghostface continually kind of like slips and falls and trips and makes errors.
Yeah.
And you think that she could make it. Obviously, they really fuck with you near the end where the parents are walking up to the door as she's getting
Mm-hmm.
attacked, in this very like Hitchcocky kind of way. So they really like obviously they're playing that angle, but it's a
Yeah.
really effective job where like you know what's going to happen to her because you've seen the movie before,
Yeah.
but you could believe that she could really get away from him.
Yeah.
Like it's a beatable villain by all
Yeah. If
means.
if any of us had to face off against a slasher villain, we could not beat Freddy. We could
Right.
not beat Michael. We could not beat Jason. We could probably beat Ghostface.
For sure. It's just a guy. It's just like two high
Yeah,
schoolers.
because there's a good chance that Ghostface is my buddy Eric.
Right. But
Like,
that makes it like that makes like the cruelty and like the
Yeah,
kills
exactly.
really pop to me.
Hmm.
I would say Leatherface has a similar thing where it's just like this. I mean, he's a big, crazy fucking hillbilly, but
With a
he's really just a
chainsaw.
guy. He's just really a guy.
He's a
why are
guy
you
with a
people coming into my
chainsaw.
house?
Yeah.
We demonize Leatherface, but that is the
I'm not
average
beating
Texan
anyone with a
response.
chainsaw.
Yeah. I wouldn't be fucking going into no house in no rural Texas under any circumstances ever. You're likely to get fucking shot. You're lucky that you got chainsawed. That doesn't sound right once you say it like that, but you know what I mean? Like
Oh
No,
like
yeah,
man.
I mean,
it should have been over like
Yeah.
instantly, just like pop out.
Mm-hmm. Fan out. I mean, this is to me a very fun movie about how teenage girls are the most hated people in America. Like just the misogyny machine that gets unleashed against Sydney is insane. You got Billy who just wants to have sex, but whines about his mommy, is upset that she won't give it away. You got Gail Weathers who is writing a book about how she's a liar, and it's like you are just as much of a problem as any man.
hmm This is
And
the only movie where like these characters really work because like from here on out, it's sort of like we have Nev
it,
Campbell and we have Courtney
it,
Cox.
the rest of the series gets a little bit more sincere, so it
Yeah,
lacks the bite that this has.
yeah. This is a mean. I always think that
It
whenever
is
I
a
watch it. It is a
mean
mean
fucking
fucking
movie.
movie.
I mean,
The
her
thing where one of my favorite part of the entire thing is where the cameraman has the video and it's
and
on
the
a
third,
tape
yeah,
delay. And
uh-huh.
so it goes from
That
Jamie
is so
Kennedy
great.
watching Halloween saying, Jamie, look out, the killer's behind you, to he's watching Jamie Kennedy going, hey, watch out, the killer's behind you, and then the
Behind
killer's
you,
behind him. And
behind
it's
you.
like,
Yep.
what the fuck is wrong with you,
and
man?
and just like the feedback loop of that is so much fun.
And it's just like the video, the VHS video versus the, kind of
Hmm.
recording, which I think is recording from the VCR. So it's like
Yeah, because
literally, yeah,
Gail plants the camera there
yeah.
because
That
she
whole
just
like final
listens to the
scene's a little
party.
like abrupt. Like it's extended, but like you get to that house party and you're like, oh yeah, we're not gonna leave this. Like the credits are gonna roll over the
I know.
yard of this house.
I know. I was like, oh yeah, shit. This takes place. This is a much longer third act than I remember it being.
Yeah, yeah. We don't really move once we get there.
Yeah, you're trapped there with Dewey.
I don't like that first movie very much at all. It's perfectly watchable, but I leave it and I'm just like, I get it. It ain't making me laugh, but I get it. And
It's
then
making me laugh.
Yeah.
the
There was
sequels are
so
like
much laughter.
actively unbearable. Two is okay, it's like fine. Three, four, five, six.
Four is probably
Put
the one that I like the most because Wes clearly had the biggest chip on his shoulder when he was making it.
Mm,
Like he just decided to like get pissed off at people.
put a
yeah,
bullet in me, bro. Like,
for
oh
sure.
God.
But yeah, and apparently yesterday was Physical Media Day at Vidiot's, which is a two auditorium movie theater
Right.
and a rental store with tens of thousands of DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks and VHS tapes. So they had a big sale, which I missed out on. But apparently, if you bought tickets to Scream last night, there was a giveaway, which I didn't know about until they called my name, and I was like, "Wait, what the fuck's happening?" So now I own all six Scream movies on DVD. So shout out to idiots. Thank you, Paramount.
For a good movie and five of its sequels.
But hey, I would never buy this,
That,
but I'm
yeah,
happy. But I'm happy to own it. Happy to
for
own
sure.
it.
For sure.
Shit, I'd take that for free.
Yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
But they asked everyone to scream when their names got called out, and I raised my hand. I was
Yeah, I'm
like,
not doing
"What?"
that.
I'm like, "What?" But there were multiple people dressed up as Ghostface last night, so I thought,
Mhm.
like, "Oh my god, am I about to be Jada Pinkett Smith? Like, what's
It's kind of
happening?"
the last truly, we could talk about like Megan and like the memes and stuff like that. It's like the
Hmm.
last truly iconic slasher villain
Yeah.
where that mask hit, and I mean, suddenly it was in like Budweiser commercials and shit.
Hmm.
Like it was an immediate cultural touchstone.
Yeah, because everyone buys them. You buy that, you buy the regular one, you buy the ones that pump blood through the
Right,
face.
right. Yeah. Thank you, Edward Munch.
Yeah, it's a simple costume, but it's so effective.
Hmm. Well, from one Psycho riffing movie to another. That's a movie that like not only directly quotes Psycho, but you got like Billy Loomis and all that kind of stuff. I was thinking today because I watched Carrie today, one of the two movies we're talking about. Is there a more referenced movie in the canon, whether you mean like a character name or a location or a dynamic or like literally just a shot? Like, Raging Bull, you got a scene where Jake LaMotta's in like the second or third rematch of this one particular fight, and when he gets the knockout punch, it's literally just the Norma Bates shower scene. Like it's literally like frame for frame the fucking same thing. Is there a more referenced movie on Earth than Psycho, or is that really the one?
I
Uh,
maybe The Godfather, maybe.
Maybe.
Wizard of Oz, maybe, but it's
Yeah,
like
Wizard of Oz for sure. I
we're
could see.
talking about like you are text of film,
Yeah,
basically.
and so for horror, for thrillers,
Oh,
I
for
feel like if
horror,
you were to, I
nothing
feel like if
more.
you went door to
Yeah.
door and you were asking like great, whether it's, your John Carpenter, your Brian De Palma, who we're talking about today, those two guys, I feel like maybe there's a generational divide where like past a certain point, you talk to like Jordan Peele and you're gonna get The Shining sometimes. I feel
Hmm.
like before that cutoff, if you're like, what's the greatest horror movie of all time? You're gonna get a lot of Psycho.
Yeah.
You are gonna get that answer a lot from filmmakers because I just feel like there's such a I saw some posts from that the other day where it's the shower shot from beneath and the streams are coming down.
Ooh.
And it's like, how
Uh-huh.
the fuck did he get that shot? How did he get this
Yeah.
shot? The camera should be doused. What? It's brain breaking. Like, wait, huh?
Maybe it was covered in chocolate syrup. It's fine.
Yeah,
I did see that in theaters as well. Forgot to mention
yeah,
that. But
Yeah.
just
yeah.
that's a picture.
The movie.
I will personally make an edit of it that
The
cuts out
Topher,
the
the Topher Grace cut.
yeah. Just cut out like 4 minutes. Make a 5-star picture.
Oh, it's
I
already a
was,
five-star pick.
it is a
Shut
five
up.
star. I know. It was 4.5 for me forever. And then I rewatched. It was literally last year. I rewatched. It's funny, Morgan. I rewatched both Night of the Living
Mhm.
Dead and Psycho, and they both got score bumps. Night of the Living Dead up to a 4.5 and Psycho up to a 5 because I was just like, I'm fucking the scene where it really, 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 really got me is just the shot of the shower drain, and you
Hmm.
do a little lap fade into her eye. Again, I don't know how. I don't know. I think he must have killed Janet Leigh to get this shot
Yeah.
because she's just like fucking laying face down on the floor, staring, and it does this like sick fucking
I
spin.
mean, if you like really, really look, you can tell that her eye is ever so slightly moving, but you
It's
would have to be a really
I
anally
I
retentive person to do that.
I saw it on the big screen. I couldn't tell.
no, I've
Because
watched it a lot of times.
Zach said that as I was like going into the movie. He mentioned that
Yeah.
scene right before, so I was like, I was watching it like a hawk this time, and I was still like,
How the
how the
fuck?
Well,
fuck?
no. Oh, because you so believe that she's dead.
Yeah. It's kind of a theme of today, or at least it'll be a theme once we get to Christine, because it's just something that was on my mind while watching that movie is just sometimes in a movie like, yeah, you're like totally you see a dead body, Yee Yee in the movie Yee Yee. The guy's not dead
Mm.
in that movie, but you think he's committed suicide, and you can see his chest rising and falling. And again, like that character's not even meant to be dead, so like who cares? It's not like it's an error. But you can usually see stuff like that if you're
Yeah.
looking really, really closely. But the one in Psycho, I mean, she killed that. Like she just is
Living
fully
people should not be laying in that position.
no.
That
Um,
does seem kind of painful.
but yeah, I just had that movie. I knew you had watched it, Morgan. I was going to name drop it. It's just, classic. It may be the, I'm not going to say it's the most referenced movie on this podcast, but it may be the movie that we've talked about the most in terms of like, just like a little segment here or there. And we've never done an episode on Hitchcock Psycho, but we have
No.
done an episode on Gus Van Sant's Psycho. So that happened once upon a time.
I
Um,
mean, we talked about Hitchcock's a
Oh,
lot on
we've
that
talked
one.
about it a ton. We've basically covered it from end to end, just
Yeah.
not as the subject. But I was thinking about it a lot while I was watching Carrie, which I just did today,
Mhm.
which is sort of the first movie up to bat. Although I think I'm going to try to steer us to where we can kind of mix and match these two because there's a fun combination here between Christine and Carrie.
My
And
two
I mean,
favorite women, or
the
two of my favorite women.
the girls, the first commonality, the first common link, and the reason that we're doing it is that they were both written by the author Stephen King, Massachusetts, no, Maine Zone. I was going to say Massachusetts. What the fuck am I talking about?
I'm talking to Cole Duffy, I guess.
Yeah, he's a Boston
Bizarre.
Red Sox fan, but that's about as far as it goes. No,
Yeah.
he's a Maine boy. New England, nevertheless. And I think this was kind of born of an initiative. I have a lot of goals in my life that I don't ever achieve, such as I think our friend Riley, who I was originally gonna kind of have on here for Carrie, at one point or another, sometimes somebody says something and you're like, I don't think I agree with that shit at all, but I'm kind of compelled by the take. It said something
Mhm.
about like how the first five Stephen King novels, which would be Carrie, Pet Cemetery. I'm gonna get the order wrong, but I think it's Carrie, Salem's Lot, uh, The Stand is in there, The Shining is in there, and The Dead Zone, which would be the five in some order or another, not counting the
I know the Shining is number three.
yeah, and then I think it goes the stand for Dead Zone 5. And that does not count the Bachman novels, so you don't get Rage. I think we might be skipping The Long Walk, which just got an adaptation, but those five. And I was like, that's an interesting take. And ever since he said it, I specifically wanted to watch or not watch, but reread Salem's Lot. So I had this kind of thought in my head. I was like, well, I'll start with Carrie because it's really short.
Mhm.
And I read Carrie and I was like, I want to watch this movie. We should do it on the podcast because it's Stephen King. And it's horror and all that good stuff. And so then that led to watching Christine. So Cole, and Morgan also, I think all three of us, I read it.
Mhm.
It was a reread of Carrie for me and a first for you guys. So I'll start with Cole. Thoughts, feelings on the novel, Carrie.
Okay, so for both of these, I did the audiobooks just because of how my schedule is in life. Uh, the audiobook for Carrie was read by Sissy Spacek, who is kind of perfect for that because, well, obviously. But I listened to this over the course of 2 days, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
Great
I
fucking
think
book.
you might like it the most of us three, which is
Probably,
interesting. So this was notably one of the reasons why I started with Cole is because these are the first two Stephen King novels that you've
yeah.
read,
I've read On Writing, which was, that's something else completely different.
for sure.
But yeah, no, just never got around to reading Stephen King novels. I think my mom has a grudge against him because she's named Carrie and was born in 1974. So,
Mm, there you go.
Creepy Carrie, creepy Carrie.
No psychic powers, though.
Yeah, I think Carrie as an audiobook presents an interesting challenge because it's structured around having these like diegetic other materials, like this is from a research novel or not novel but like a research text, or this is from
Hmm.
the newspaper, or this is from a documentary,
Right.
and then
Or
it
people's
slips into scenes.
autobiographies. Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So you're kind of flipping back and forth between the
Yeah.
novel progressing through the narrative and then this kind of from well after the fact published material
Hmm.
referencing back on the event, like the
The White
tragedy or
Committee.
whatever. Yeah.
The White
So you
Committee, yeah.
have this kind of like it's even more, it's not foreshadowing. Like you literally know that something awful is going to happen. And that's an
Yeah.
interesting characteristic that I think carries through into the movie of like there's never a moment where you don't know that everything is going to fall on your head.
Hmm.
There's like a doomed characteristic to it that is
Yeah.
interesting.
Very, very fatalistic. And yeah, I just thought that the scatter shot, like trying to piece together what happened,
Sure.
was really interesting in audio form as
Yeah.
well for the
Yeah.
book.
Morgan,
I
I
feel
think
like,
this landed a little bit with a, not a thud, but lower on the list anyway.
Well, I mean, it's at the bottom of the 17 books I've read by Stephen King thus far. Um, those are all good books, good to some of the best shit I've ever read. So that doesn't really mean anything.
Hmm.
Um, but I read it in like 3 hours, and I was continually distracted. I think this is my big complaint. I was distracted by the fact that it was constantly like, at that prom night, it all went terribly.
Right.
Like saying that over and over and over again in the research texts and even st in in the non-diegetic prose. It was just like, I mean, if the story doesn't do that, I have no idea where this is going.
mm,
Like it could be anything, and this
Hmm.
is really like the first story like this that at least it was popular at this scale, um, where it's like completely contemporary to its time and discussing life at high school and school in general for a certain kind of person
mm,
and then dramatizing that to the maximum. So, like if you go into this completely blind, as many people did the first time they read it, it was his first novel, um, it just tells you over and over again how this is going to end. And so when the ending comes, I'm just kind of like, I mean, obviously I'd seen the movie before,
Hmm.
and it's just I even before I had seen the movie, I knew how it ended. But
yeah.
I'm usually pretty good about being like, especially when I'm reading something and the process is slower. I'm usually pretty good at like uh, putting myself in the position of somebody who is consuming this story for the first time. I really just get deep in the weeds of it, and the book was constantly not letting me do that
Mm,
because I'm just trying to see like I'm trying to piece together how it goes, and then it
Even
just keeps
then,
telling me.
it's such a stylistic choice, even in his prose, where he will like end some chapter on some dagger. Like, I can't, if I had the book in front of me, I could pull one open where it's like he will end it with something that's like, oh yeah, we're doing some grim, pretty direct foreshadowing of like whatever. Like he had no
Yeah.
idea how bad things
mm,
were about to get. Like,
And if
right.
it, but if that was the extent of it, that would be great. I'd be fine with that. It's literally like sitting down Sue and being like, "So tell me about what happened at the prom." And I was like, "Okay, dude. I, okay." So it's a good story at its core. Stephen King writing teenage girls, little that's
yeah,
dodgy. That's dodgy.
there's
But
a
that
line
yeah.
in Christine, probably near the beginning. I don't know, the book's got like fucking 50 chapters to it, so who knows what chapter exactly. But it's Dennis Gilder, who is the narrator for most of that book, talking about how Arnie, like every high school in America's got at least two, a boy and a girl, referring to Arnie Cunningham in that book.
Mm,
But as I had been reading it directly after Carrie, I was also like, yeah, I mean, it's Arnie and Carrie. Like that's what
yeah.
you're talking about. And so that really forms the basis of the similarity of these two stories is that they
Hmm.
both do center on a social outcast who is ridiculed, bullied, beaten, whatever. Pretty that's a pretty common Stephen King thing. He really does not pull the mask or pulls the mask off, does not take the whatever you want to say. He does not pull punches. He does not tap the brakes when it comes to like stories of abuse or ridicule or torment,
Yeah.
and therefore paints a picture of high school that can be pretty intense and lonely and sad. Um, One of the key things in the novel Christine, and I want to get your guys' opinions on it. I don't just want to talk about it myself, but one of the things that really anchors that is that you have a Dennis Gilder and that it leans into him being the main character and Arnie being someone like, because it's the same thing. Once you get to the very, 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 very,
Hmm.
very end of Christine, it's I'm writing down my story. And it's like that the whole time for the first person perspective. I'm alluding to
Yeah.
the fact that there are three parts. In the middle part, it suddenly becomes a third person omniscient, which is a fucking cool creative choice in my opinion. But for the most part, you're anchored in the perspective, which is an interesting parallel. Because in Christine, I would say that you are anchored in the perspective of Sue, kind of. But Sue just is so much more removed from Carrie. She doesn't, they're not friends, right? She doesn't know that girl. So it's just
Yeah.
something that happened to Sue. But I think I would say that you see lots of that book from her eyes, but Christine really leans into that further to its strength. Like that makes it a better book, in my opinion. Not like that's the only, not like that is the defining characteristic, but it's a better choice to anchor you in that story.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like he's far, far more confident in himself as a writer by the time that Christine rolls around.
No doubt. I
Yeah.
mean, once you've
That
done
he,
The Shining and The Stand, like, yeah,
yeah,
we did it, man.
um,
Yeah. You're in the clear.
that he like he's fully just like he is going to do a second part that's in third person omniscient and then
Hmm.
alternate these perspectives like that. Um, I think what grounds it to me is that he himself, I said this when we were talking about the long walk
Hmm.
on I think the last episode, there's like nobody better at writing young boys and male friendship better than Stephen King. And it's like
Mhm.
with Carrie, he is tapping into a world that he himself does not have a really good grasp on in the way that he does with things like The Body, which was turned into Stand By Me, and The Long Walk, and things like of that nature.
Or
Mhm.
It, which this is
Yeah,
obviously building towards, is
Yeah.
I mean, It, you've got a girl in there. You got Bev in the friend group, but it is largely a
Yeah.
friend group of boys.
Hmm.
yeah. Not only does he feel more confident from like just a general writing perspective, he feels so much more at home to me with this particular subject. Even though, you know, Broadview, it's a movie about a ghost car, which is a little bit harder to stomach than
It's,
Telekinetic Girl.
yeah, it's a much more heightened
Hmm.
horror supernatural concept.
Yeah.
Cole, what'd you make of reading this?
So I listened to the audiobook version of this as
I know
well.
one thing you thought about reading this, but
Shitter.
If I hear that fucking word one more time, shut the fuck up, Stephen King.
it's funny because I've seen the Carpenter movie a bunch of times.
Uh-huh.
I read Christine once back, probably high school, college type of
Hmm.
time frame, and then
Yeah.
this was my first time rereading it. So I knew from the Carpenter movie that that was like a key word, that was
Hmm.
like, the LeBay word that Arnie picks up and is going to use because Keith Gordon says it a number of times throughout the movie. I had no concept of how many times
I mean,
he was going to
Jesus
drop that
Christ.
motherfucker.
It
If
is.
I played a if I played a drinking game, I'd have cirrhosis right now.
I think that's the idea for sure, is that it's a word that he talks about. This is one of my favorite little descriptive pieces in the book. He's in the garage and he's talking about how all these guys working on cars are
Hmm.
just cursing all the time because they get frustrated, and it's always, they say it's always like a feminist, oh you bitch, oh you fucking cunt, like it's
Hmm.
that they get really vulgar and they get really
Yeah.
angry. And so I think shitter is just like this word that he associates with like these greaser, nasty types. And it was
Hmm.
like a word that every time he heard it, it was like a flinch. It was like a, "Ugh, stop using
Yeah.
that, man." I think he's trying to evoke that for you, but he definitely adds a lot of pepper
No, it
to the
becomes abuse.
recipe.
It becomes abuse at a certain point if that's the
Yeah.
goal. Is
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is a good book. It's a little long for me. I just feel like it could have been tightened in some spots.
no doubt.
Feel like at the
That's the
beginning
king touch.
could
Yeah.
have just beginning could have gone a little bit faster for me, but
I
but
can't
overall, very good
there are
book.
like I can't say that Pet Cemetery needed to be tightened. I can't say that the
Drawing of the
stand,
three.
yeah, the drawing of the three. I can't say that the stand needed to be tightened, even though it's
No.
1,000 pages.
It sounds wrong, but it's not.
Yeah. Uh,
I'm never reading that.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
it's really like, yeah.
Where's the
I
Chris
There's a
think
Simon
I
movie?
there's a joy with King, and I would include Christine in this because I would agree. Could you tighten this? Yes. One of the
Mm,
reasons why it's better than Carrie for me is because Carrie's too fucking short. It's because we don't
yeah.
get a chance to sit and bask, and he's just really good. One of the reasons why The Stand is so good.
hmm
What's the common critique of Stephen King? Bro can't write a fucking ending. That's his
Yeah.
climax is whatever.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why The Stand is so major, one of the reasons why The Dark Tower is so major as a whole, like the series, is
hmm
because you're just waiting and waiting.
hmm
What WADI, not waiting, wading, like in the water.
Uh-huh.
And just soaking and living with these guys. And I think one similarity between Carrie and Christine is that they are each stories about a town and happenings within a town and like a time and a place and a region, which is
Yeah.
very Stephen Kingy with his Dairy Maine and all that kind of stuff. Got
hmm
the state right that time, of course. Uh, and that's what Carrie gets at to me with all that. I'll call it supplementary material stuff that it's doing, is it makes
Uh-huh.
you feel like there's a historical record of a tragedy that hit this
Yeah.
town.
It's more
And
journalistic.
more journalistic for sure. Versus Christine, maybe you could say it's journalistic in the sense that you've literally got like a guy telling his story and he's getting like a memoir out on paper. But
hmm
you really in that time get like I think the name of the town's Libertyville, Pennsylvania. It's like a stand-in for like a Pittsburgh suburb, basically. The
Yeah.
book is dedicated to George Romero, so let that speak for itself. And I think that it just does a better job of letting you exist in that place. And one of the big
hmm
things for me is the season change. It turns from, it's like the beginning of the school year. The movie does this a bit too, but it doesn't go as far. Like, I would say, like, the whole first half of it is like up to the winter break. And then the
Yeah.
violence starts, and it's like Christmas, New Year's, snowy, wintry
hmm
time.
Yeah, there's that scene where Dennis is laid up and Arnie
hmm
brings him some beer on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's like the pivot point. And past that, it becomes this very, it's not New England because it's Pennsylvania, but like this very snowy northeast. I really like that. That's not part of the movie, but I really like that aspect of the book. Just
hmm
Christine sure-footed in the
Yeah.
snow kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Like the rot of the town
hmm For
setting
sure.
in.
Carrie screams to me, the book very particularly, and the movie not at all, really, for it to have that more fleshed out
Yes.
town reason. Because, like, especially because you keep telling me that it's going to happen, if she massacres this entire town, would it not behoove you to make me know who at least some of these people are,
Right.
besides Chris Hargensen and Sue and John Travolta? And
The
I,
only one that you really, the only one that you really end up connected to is Tommy, who gets killed by the bucket.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the gym teacher a little bit,
She
but
had it
even
coming.
Who
yeah, well, yeah, you know,
In the
total
movie anyway. In the movie anyway.
yeah,
yeah, in the movie, but like in the book, total lesbian, right?
Yes.
both
Yeah,
versions.
both. Yes, thank you. Correct. I think the thing with Carrie, as you transition it into the movie, it's one of the first notes that I took watching it, which again, I watched it today. That menstruation scene actually needed to be filmed by a man, which sounds really fucking stupid. That sounds like a really dumbass take, but there's like an out of body characteristic for Carrie. She is totally terrified of this. She is somebody who has not been raised, quote unquote, as a woman. She's been raised as a thing, as an object by her mother, who is this wicked, wicked person. So there is like an alien fear characteristic that just would not be, that's not how a woman would react to it, which is the entire point of the scene. Is that all the
hmm
women in that scene, I mean, all the high school girls, women, but even the gym teacher herself are all like, the fuck is your problem? Like, this
Right.
is normal. This is biological. This is how a man would react if a man suddenly, like, just blood trickled out of his urethra in the shower. That is the fear that happens here. So there was something I was just thinking about where I was like, actually, this might work better because it's De Palma than it would if it was, I don't know, Julia DeCournau. Because Julia DeCournau is going to film, like, have a much more organic sense of menstruation than a guy who's going to film it like it's a fucking xenomorph. That's a weird take, but it's kind of part of the juice of the movie, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just perspective, and De
Mhm.
Palma's perspective on it happened to absolutely crush it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's tons of versions of this where that scene happens and it's like stupid because a man directed it. Um, De
Right.
Palma's just lurid enough to
That it works.
embrace the alien nature of it to Carrie in that moment, and also to lean on the nature of like all the girls around her who, throw tampons and belittle her and all that. They don't know that it's her first time
Hmm.
having
Hmm.
her period because she's like 16 or 17
Yeah,
or something.
16.
Like,
She's like a senior in high school in the movie.
yeah,
It's her senior prom. So there's
Yeah.
also I really like this detail where she like runs up with the blood on her hands, runs up and starts like I mean she gets it on the gym teacher shorts in both the novel and the movie, but she's like touching people with her bloody menstruating hands and it's like, "Girl, what the
yeah.
fuck is your problem?" Like
Hmm.
it's a normal reaction to be like grossed out by her in this moment because she's
Yeah,
acting weird.
Yeah.
because that's what sets Chris off into being like, oh fuck this bitch, yada yada
Yeah.
yada.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the leering aspect works because it is like this horrible moment where she doesn't know any better, but the girls surrounding her don't know anything about her upbringing. So of
Right.
course they treat her like she's a freak. They're like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? It's just a period,
It's
girl.
it's also
Use a tampon. It'll be
interesting.
fine."
It's also interesting because it is horny in that Brian De Palma way.
Oh, they look like little
For
nymphs running
Yeah,
around in the
for
Yeah,
glade.
they
for that
do.
entire slow motion segment, and then the slow zoom or pan in on SpaceX completely naked, and it's like it's steamy and all that. It looks
Right.
softcore basically,
It does,
and then it flips that on you.
for sure.
It
Hmm.
makes you immediately feel disgusting for feeling anything of that nature towards any of these people for a variety of reasons. It's
Yeah.
one of the most iconic openings in the genre.
There's a bunch of stuff that happens right after that that's worth talking about, but I think all of it is in service of something that unfortunately many kids can probably relate to, where you're having a really hard time in school and they decide to send you home to somewhere that's worse than school.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the movie. You're like, as bad as
Hmm.
this is,
Yeah.
that is significantly worse. That is
Worse.
why this is bad. I mean, this
Hmm.
was going to be bad no matter what, because teenagers are awful. But
Yeah.
it's really fucking bad
When it's your own
because of
mother.
this, right? So the middle stuff that you see, like the first thing is Piper Laurie goes to visit Sue Snell's mom, which I
She's
think,
so good in this
dude,
movie. Oh
she's
my
really good.
god.
Well, uh, keep talking. I want to talk about Piper Laurie like for
Okay.
a bit, but you keep going.
So
I'll
yeah,
remember my point.
basically it's just that you see the mother out and about, and it's an important little thing for Sue, where Sue goes from being the first one yell and plug it up to seeing how does the gym teacher react to the situation.
Hmm.
Oh, then I saw where it came from because I saw Margaret White come into this house, and like suddenly the compassion factor starts to kick in. She has a conscience. I think something that's so compelling about the movie is that there really is not any wasted movement. I mean, to be honest, if we just jump right to the bucket, every single image, every single line of dialogue builds you to that bucket. It's a movie
Yeah.
that just feels like there is this thing waiting to happen. It's literally all the potential energy is there. And obviously, once you get to the scene, lots of tension. But all the way up to that point, it's like, okay, so there's the inciting incident of the blood in the shower. There's Sue developing her conscience, which is going to lead to her having Tommy
Hmm.
ask her out. Like everything is tick, 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 tick. And that just sounds like I'm describing, the basic cause and effects that all screenplays are written on. But there is a really distinctly like lethal speed that all these things are happening in. It's a car wreck that you can't stop. The momentum is too set in stone, right? Nobody's
Yeah.
going to tap the
Hmm.
brakes on this.
Yeah.
Which is maybe what King was trying to tap into with how constantly he reminded you that it was all going to end badly on a
Hmm.
specific date at a specific time
Hmm.
and didn't quite have the literary language on lock enough to
Right.
get that point across. But De
Hmm.
Palma has it, I mean, works flawlessly here. I think the first great addition to this movie, as in adaptation choice that was not uh something that was not in the book that was added to the screenplay, was is that first scene where the first scene we are introduced to Margaret White, where
Mhm.
she knocks on Sue's door, mother's door, and they have that weird little exchange, and
I
Sue's
pray
mother's like,
you find Jesus.
you know, I, okay, so my point is that that's a great adaptational choice. That's a perfect way to introduce that character that the book
Mhm.
just didn't have at all. Piper Laurie is hilarious in this movie. Like, la like when she's like chastising Carrie in that first scene, there's like, "You're a woman now. Say it, woman."
The
It's
the
just
stuff that gets me, so she's got the book, right? And she's like, curse by Eve, say it. And she's like, just like kind of slapping her with like the pages of
yeah.
say it, say it.
Say it, woman. It's like it's a choice that threatens to not work for me if real life evangelical preachers, you can look up footage of dozens of them behaving exactly like this.
This is a
It is
Baptist.
it
This
is
is like,
such
Ah, this is a Baptist to the
it
core.
it is such an informed by that kind of performance, even before the like super popularity of like especially like televangelized
right.
Hmm.
movement. But it feels so much like you were in the pews of one of those or one of the churches of these people who is just out of their mind.
Yeah.
There is a line from Margaret White to Tammy Faye Baker.
Yeah. There,
Oh, I mean, it's like I wouldn't be
it,
surprised if the real life Tammy Faye Baker didn't see Piper Laurie in this film and go, I can take a couple notes.
I feel like this is just one of those natural things. But in the novel, you do get a little bit more of like, she's not really a member of a church. Like, this
No.
woman
No,
is on
she's
her
just
own
fucking nuts.
fucking insane rhythm that you
Hmm.
don't really get the context of that here. It's
Hmm.
not that you know what I mean? Like, it's just like not stated. We don't really get into that. But I think it's having that knowledge in your head just kind of informs like, yeah, this is like a complete zealot. This is a zealot that's so zealous that everyone else is like, no, thank you.
This is someone who in 2025 would be sharing AI videos of Charlie Kirk in heaven.
Oh dear. Oh no. Oh no.
You know, and this starts off the long trend of all of Stephen King's work where if there's a Christian in the book, they are a fucking lunatic.
Which is a part of the book that I find a little exhausting that doesn't really affect the movie for me because Piper Laurie is such an incredible performer here.
Hmm.
Um,
I think that what you get in the movie is a depiction of just a form of repression that we don't spend as much time with as you do in the book. And I
Uh-huh.
think this is like to your point earlier, Morgan, like this is probably the part of it that King feels more confident in than
yeah.
talking about like teenage girls getting bullied by, and he's really no more informed about it. He's kind of taken like, a guess as to what this might qualify and look like. That said, there's at least one part in the book where she talks about like getting locked in the closet for like literally hours, where she's
Hmm.
like shitting and pissing herself, and I'm like, that's fucking foul. That is
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
foul imagery to be dropping
And
on
like
me right now,
honestly,
man.
like some of the stories you hear are coming from people who like adopt 800 kids and then
Right.
become like religious fanatics. It's like it's not that far off from reality, honestly.
I think
Yeah,
he
I
lays
don't
it on
find any of
thick.
it. Yeah, I don't find any of it it doesn't, test the limits of my suspension of disbelief or anything. I
Hmm.
just think it's a little like obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean it's not as obnoxious as like that one lady in the mist.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think that it does a good job in the movie, particularly because we are
Hmm.
moving very fast and
Yeah.
and and clipping through these points. There's only really a few
Hmm.
scenes there, and I
Yeah.
think
Which are like
th-
almost Bergman-esque religious hysteria
it's
at
I
times.
I'm this is obviously the opposite direction, but I'm always thinking about Robert Eggers' The Witch watching this movie. There's like a very similar kind
Yeah.
of, and one of the things that makes them feel the most similar is that, and there's some connection to Christine here too. There's a valid concern. If your kid can fucking murder people with her brain, is she not kind of a witch? Like, is she not like,
Yeah,
are we not,
could be the devil.
could
You
be the
know,
And
devil.
you got to
at the
keep
same
that shit on
time,
lock, but
maybe call a doctor.
Maybe. That's yeah, maybe we don't just lock her in the
Yeah, I
prayer
mean,
closet about it.
Ellen Burstyn talked to some folks in The
Yeah.
Exorcist, you
Well,
know?
yeah,
Right, that's true.
yeah.
They were not terribly helpful.
Well,
But
no.
it was something.
I think that as I was reading the two books, Carrie is a book about the horror of being raised by a Baptist, and Christine is a novel about the horror of being raised by liberals, by like cop professors.
The mom
Yeah.
in that book is a real character.
I like her. I really like
I
how that
do like
character
her
is too.
too.
He definitely, kind of to Morgan's point that he was making about Margaret White, or just in general, the religious hysteria aspects of
Mhm.
the book. It's probably coming on a little strong. Like he definitely makes her into like the
Mhm.
bitchiest bitch that ever bitched.
Yeah.
But then there's one or two moments where, again, like it's about the validity of what's happening to Arnie. It's about like she doesn't know how to express it because her
Yeah.
pride's getting in the way, but she
Hmm.
is deathly afraid for her son.
I know.
And it's in that middle segment where we leave
Uh,
Dennis behind, and it's just like a
yeah.
little snippet of something, and I was like, ugh,
You
I
know,
don't
no,
like how that feels.
no, yeah, no. I felt
I
bad for Mrs. Cunningham.
I think it's something the movie does extremely well because that's a really
Yeah.
good performance by the mother,
Hmm.
especially because she is all stone-faced and hard and parenting capital P in the first few scenes that we see of her. And then once, we go away from her a little bit, and once we see like whatever the last scene of Arnie at home with them, she's like shaking and crying and
Hmm.
terrified, and Arnie is like picking his father up by his throat, and
Yeah,
it's
It's
just you
sad. It's just
see you
sad.
just see and like without even really being told how much the dynamic of that household has been flipped on its
right,
head.
Hmm.
right.
Yeah.
It happens quick. The
Yeah.
quickness of Christine is more notable even than the quickness of Carrie, just because it is a 500-page book that we are now. It's like less than 2 hours long,
Hmm.
and you're booking it through that stuff. I
Yeah.
do think the dad in that movie, like just I've seen Christine enough times to establish my love. I don't need to make it all about comparing it to the book. I like the book quite a lot more than I like the movie just because it's able to do book things that a movie could not do. The movie's able to
Yeah.
do movie things that a book could not do, so like
Yeah.
whatever. But the dad in particular, I think is an area where like that is such a strong part of the book, like the dad's character and who he is. And then he just kind of becomes like a dude. But I do like I'm also a little questioning on like Dennis. I like that performance, but it feels a little anonymous. It feels a little, but maybe that's not a bad thing.
John
Yeah.
Stockwell's a little
A little
bland.
bland.
Well, I think Dennis is a little bland. And that's sort of his thing,
Yeah.
though, is that he's like the star quarterback and he's the guy that everybody likes, but is only really close to this one other person.
Yeah,
He's like turning away girls until he meets, what the hell is her name?
Lee.
Shit. Yeah,
Lee
Lee.
Cabot.
Until Lee Cabot shows up and everybody's like,
Hmm.
I love that one kid who's like, I want to have deep,
Deep,
meaningful
meaningful
sex with
sex
her.
with her.
It's like,
Oh
that's,
my God.
It's a great teenage boys kind of movie. There's a certain
yeah.
like vulgarity to both Carrie and Christine that actually feels
Hmm.
very honest to the high school experience
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
and like how people really are and like how they
I
behave and shit.
I think the scene for me and Carrie in that is when they're picking out their tuxedos.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
feels
that
very
it's the only thing in that movie that could have been cut, and I'm so glad that it got left in
Yeah.
because it's
Just
just a
like a
couple
little
dudes
slice
like,
of
just like,
normality.
oh yeah, I don't want any ruffles. No
yeah.
fucking ruffles.
One of my favorite bits in that scene is a little editing trick that they pull where it just speeds through some
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
dialogue.
That's so
And it's like,
funny.
did you just not want to fucking cut there? Like, what was the story behind why that got sped up? But it's really funny.
Yeah, it's like, oh, for God's sakes, all right. Here's like the main joke.
It's got a very like American graffiti vibe to it, particularly in the
Yeah.
scenes where it's Billy and Chris, the stars of Brian De Palma's Blowout, John Travolta and Nancy Allen, just like cruising down the road. Hey, give me one of them beers.
Travolta's first role.
He is
I
on fucking fire. Like he's so funny. It's
Imagine
a
doing this and then immediately going into Saturday Night Fever. That is kind of insane.
yeah.
I think he kind of stinks in this movie.
Oh man, so I texted Cole about this. I think one, here's why he's good. Because his chemistry with Nancy Allen is off the charts incredible. Which,
Yeah.
if you want to say watch Blowout, I agree with you. You know, like I get it. I understand why De
Yeah,
Palma went back to the well on that
yeah.
one.
Hmm.
But their chemistry is really good. I will say that compared to the Billy of the novel, who is just an evil prick,
Like
just a
Yeah.
complete
horrifying.
rat bastard, Travolta's too nice to be that guy.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
he's just like,
Yeah. Travolta could not be the Billy of the book.
no, he's all like, "Come on, man. I told you
So
not to
he,
call me that."
so he's like the pawn, and we really lean into Chris, Nancy
Hmm.
Allen being like
Alpha bitch.
alpha bitch, and if that works. I think that works really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It's not
There's a
like a huge
hostility. Yeah,
it's something that contributes to me being softer on this movie than the two of you, but it's not like a huge thing for
Hmm.
me. I think it should have been better, but it's ultimately like it's also John Travolta in like his first role. You know, there's a piece of Hollywood history there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Their scenes. It's literally just it's one protracted scene where they keep like fighting and making up and fighting and making up and fighting and making up, and it's all leading to her kind of manipulating him into doing the prank, basically.
Yeah.
And but like their dynamic is just very funny to me. It's very like yeah, I feel like I've just seen this couple before. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
you guys are gonna fucking kill each other if your car didn't get exploded later. Which is even clearer in the novel, actually, that it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna fucking kill you, girl. Like he is
Yeah.
gonna
Hmm.
stab you in the like get the fuck away from him.
Bad news.
It's another
Bad
Stephen
news.
King trope is if there's teenagers involved, there's going to be one of them that's Hitler. Just the most evil son of
Just
a bitch
a
17-year-old you've ever met in your life.
a
Hmm.
sadistic fuck, and if he's into cars, that's probably the tell. If
Yeah.
he's, which
Should
is kind of the
probably get
basis of
away.
Christine. It's kind of the basis of like
Yeah.
the archetype that he's going for is this. And I really like that. I think there's an empowerment. Like, okay, so not Christine, excuse me. Carrie is like the mother of all of those good for her movies, whether you're talking about like Gone Girl or whatever. Like that is
Midsummer.
that is the good for her movie where, she does this evil, awful thing and you're like, yeah, fuck those kids. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Fry them.
They had it coming.
Was Gone with the Wind that for the 1930s?
I don't acknowledge Gone with the Wind. That's none of my business.
I truly don't give a damn. Uh,
Ayo.
yeah, I mean, there's an entire cinematic language that is born out of this movie for horror films.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the book kind of being like the first of its kind, of its story in this way, where it's like again, super contemporary setting, like trying to say something about what it is like to be a certain kind of person in a certain kind of environment at a specific time and how painful that often is. And we see
Hmm.
that time and time again. And I mean, you brought up The Witch,
Yeah.
which is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Um, there's obviously tons of great examples of this. I mean, a lot of slashers are about this. Halloween is
Yeah.
kind of about this.
Hmm.
The
The
deeply different
final girl.
Yeah.
the
Final girl that
deeply,
kind of gets
deeply
born
different
here.
thing. But as I was watching the movie, I thought about Magnolia briefly, where there's like, there's parts where Carrie confronts her mother and she's literally talking in the same language of like, you're gonna start treating me better.
Dad,
Like
you
this
need
is
to be
not gonna
nicer
go
to
on.
me.
Like literally it's
Hmm.
the same, you know, just that like oppressed dynamic that they have. One of the
Yeah.
one of the big things, so novel, you go from the prom to Carrie's house, then to Chris and Billy. And
Hmm.
there's a purposefulness to that that really works, I think, in the book, where it's like this long march through a cold night. Because I don't think it's prom in the book. I think it's some other dance, but whatever. Where she's bleeding out, she gets to the place where they are and dies there. That's how the book goes. Spoilers for Carrie the novel. Sorry. But the movie resequences it to go from prom, then very quickly Chris and Billy right after the prom, to then the mother, which to me is a smarter thematic thing where we're going
Agreed.
from questionable level of justification, right? To kill that bitch, to
Yeah.
put that bitch in the ground. You know what I mean? Like we are going from these levels and of increasing righteousness, and it puts the weight of the climax not
Hmm.
on the high school. Again, it's what I was saying earlier. Like we leave the high school, which is bad, and then we go to home, which is worse, and it puts the emphasis closer to that piece of it
Yeah.
to me.
Because we've already gotten all the money shots that we could out of the gym.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I
I
guess now's the
mean,
time to talk about that.
okay. So like the story of this movie is over in 50 minutes. He
Yeah.
blazes the fuck through it so that the entire second half can be frying teenagers, and God bless him for that. Truly off his rocker shit. And I think it's I make that joke, but it's worth noting how intentional the first half of the prom sequence is. The
Mhm.
idea that we're going from Carrie anxious, every time she uses her powers, foreshadowing, in the first part, you get like psychos, like very Bernard Herrmann sounding psycho music, all this anxiety that melts away through the first half of the prom sequence. She has the conversation with the gym teacher and she's feeling a little bit more at ease. And then fuck all the split screen stuff later. Fuck the car explosion. I don't care about any of that. Is the arc shot that spins around the two of them for about 3.5 minutes while they're just dancing and talking. And why'd you ask me out? Because I wanted to. Why'd you want to? Because you like my poem. Like just art. That's fucking art.
It it is the cinematic equivalent of Stephen King being on cocaine in the mid 80s and just cooking on like some side character who is like, I'm just gonna give this guy fully fleshed out before I slaughter him.
It makes it so good because I think that okay, so there's an innate sort of what's going through Carrie's mind when this
Mhm.
prank happens. Because Sue, who is genuinely trying to do a nice thing,
Yeah.
asks her boyfriend Tommy to ask Carrie to the prom. Tommy does it, also genuinely trying to do a nice thing. But you're like, is this a trick? Are you fucking tricking me?
Yeah.
And so there's this question, right, of what does Carrie experience once everything goes awry? Does she understand in her heart that this was really the action of one girl and a group of guys helping her, or does she think that Tommy was in on it the whole time? And I think that that scene, as well as the fact that he gets hit in the head with the bucket and fucking dies from getting hit in
Yeah.
the head with the bucket, are essential to understanding that no, he really was compassionate for you and they killed him.
Yeah.
And that's what fucking makes her snap. At least that's my impression.
Hmm.
It's not just that they embarrassed her. It's not just that they laughed at her. It's that there was one, well, maybe two people that really cared about her, and one of them died, and the other one laughed at her, the gym teacher. At least in the movie. I don't really
Yeah.
remember, even though it was not that long ago that I just reread the book. I don't remember if the gym teacher like does
The
anything bad.
the book in the book she laughs on the inside, but Carrie can sense it at
Ah,
first.
yeah. Or I think there's kind of a, you could imply that like that may just be some inner thing,
Yeah,
an
like a
inner,
nervous chuckle that like
right, right, right. You
Carrie
know,
reads as like
that
fuck
big
you.
blonde
Given
mop of hair and he, it's probably pretty jarring.
sort of given the way that this given the sort of cinematic language that De Palma uses for showing those people laughing
Mhm.
at her, I'm not
Oh,
totally
like
convinced that I mean obviously PJ Souls' character with the dumbass hat was laughing because she's a hoe.
Right, right.
But uh
God
but I'm
damn
not
it.
I
sure
love
like
her.
the oh it's just hilarious.
Norma.
Um I'm not
Again,
sure that like
totally
the
lesbian.
eh,
I mean, the
well,
hat. Come on.
I think she likes I think she samples
She's
from all
got a carbine.
platters.
She's got a carabiner. Come on. I know she's hopping into a moving truck any day
Like,
now.
I just,
Like,
I just, I just think it's wide open, is all. I think,
mhm.
as they say on Schitt's Creek, likes the wine, not the label. Um, what the hell was I talking about? Okay, yeah, the way that De Palma decides to frame those characters laughing at Carrie,
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
like I'm not totally sure that that's how that actually happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that the gym teacher is laughing at her, you know. I think she has just been catastrophically embarrassed and ridiculed and humiliated in that moment. And as soon as the blood hits her, a blind fury, Brian De Palma, uh, takes over, and she just sort of it does. I'm not. She never takes her. She never looks around her
Yeah.
once that bucket of blood has fallen on her. I'm not even sure that she knows. She certainly doesn't know that Tommy's dead, I don't think. And maybe doesn't even know that he's fallen down. I think she was just going to eviscerate anything that came across her path in that moment
Hmm.
because she was so humiliated, and that was the final straw of like everything.
It's the
It's
kaleidoscopic presentation. It's the
yeah.
split screens. It's the overlapping audio. And then all of a sudden, Sissy Spacek's eyes just lock
Oh my God,
into
just
place. The
yeah.
biggest eyes a human has ever had. And
They go from
she,
shock to malice very
yeah,
quickly.
and she basically does not move. She is stone cold still the entire scene.
While nothing else is. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Whether
Yeah.
you're split screen. So, one, worth noting, just the entire geography of this prom scene is incredible. Like, just
Yeah.
offhandedly, there's a specific thing where you're going from under you really rope all the way around the stage to under the stage where Billy and Chris are hiding, up the rope to the bucket. Then, like, the focus pulls onto the two of them as they're announced the king and queen. Like, there's just so much the Palma ass staging and execution.
Hmm.
The specific moment when that bucket drops and the screen splits as the kids are about to walk out the door, and it splits in half, and you get her face as she starts shutting the doors. That's the first call out.
Yeah.
She might be blindingly mad and furious, but this is not like a Jean Grey, Wanda, uh, what can I think of her last name? Wanda Magneto, whatever. Ma
Maximoff.
Maximoff. This is not one of those like, oh, I got so pissed off the room exploded. It's
Yeah.
extremely intentional. It is
Yeah.
pointedly methodical. The screen splits. Her fucking face slides across the screen in a way that makes me feel exhilarated and terrified at the same time. The first thing she does, shuts all the doors. She busts out the fire hose, sprays them down, starts the electrical fire. Like it's boom, 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 boom. The whole fucking thing's on fire. Calmly opens the door, walks out in slow motion, calmly closes the door, and leaves. Like,
And
ah!
everyone gets deep fried except for the gym teacher who gets split in half.
That's the thing. It's a very intentional murder of that gym teacher too.
Hmm.
Hmm.
She's like, "I'm gonna kill you, bitch. I
Yeah.
saw you laughing." Pop, pop.
Like, no, you lied to me.
And there
Yeah.
is something in the novel that I do like is that Carrie is definitely at least a little sociopathic in the book,
Oh yeah.
which I think is, more interesting maybe just on the page versus like here where she is like the ultimate victim.
I think that
There's just more room to dive into it in the book.
Yeah.
the movie has distinctly, and maybe Christine does too, not as much, the tone of a fable, which is something that I really respond to in movies. Like this third time it's been brought up, like Banshees of Inisherin has the tone of
Hmm.
a fable. Lots of Coen Brothers stuff quietly has the tone of a fable.
Yeah.
The sort of soft, light, candle lit, bloom heavy. A friend of mine compared it like it looks like old high school portraits for the yearbook or something.
Yeah.
There's something that's like I made the joke about like the nymphs in the glade. She just feels like a wounded little creature, but it's Greek myth at the same time. Like it's brutal divine
Hmm.
punishment, but it's got this tone of a fable that makes it seem a little detached from reality to where I don't have to think about it as like a school shooter situation. But I think the novel kind
Yeah.
of exists more in the framework of reality than the movie, which is more
Hmm.
dreamy.
Yeah. There is just a touch of Italian to this for sure.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Specifically, I was actually so lots of Hitchcock. They go to Bates High School. The name of the high school is
Mhm,
Bates High School. The mommy issues stuff and the whole Piper Laurie with the knife stuff is just
mhm.
very psycho coded.
It
The other
plays the ree ree sound
oh
when
yeah,
she knocks that kid off the bike.
uh
Yeah.
there's the when Carrie gets stabbed, she goes down the fucking stairs like Arbogast. There's a lot of Hitchcock. There's no shit. It's a fucking Brian De Palma movie. There's a lot of Hitchcock, goes without saying. There's also a lot of Antonioni quietly. And I'm not just saying that because he does Blow Up, which is like a light riff on Blow Out he does Blow Out, which is a light riff on Blow Up. I got the titles mixed up there. My bad. Thinking about too many things. There's just like a geometry to certain shots. There's a specific one
Oh,
that
it
gets repeated
fits.
where you're coming out of the gym and it's like, the gym teacher comes and sits next to her and there's just like this, oh yeah, okay, I
Mhm.
see how where the influences are coming from formally with Brian. Even though it's not a very Antonioni like story or movie or anything,
No,
there's
but it
just
absolutely fits.
he's just so a fun comparison between these two movies is I think that the best quality, well, maybe the best quality of Carrie is the editing, I would say, just with the split screen and how things are cut together. But the cinematography of both is just like completely exceptional. And I
Lights
think
out.
in
Yeah.
in
Just
Carrie it's more compositional. It's more the framing, it's the composition, it's the shapes. And in Christine it's the lighting. It's the
yeah,
way
it's
that
like
movie is lit.
Hmm.
Holy
anything that that
damn.
camera passes over is just going to look incredible, it feels like.
Yeah.
I took a picture of the TV of that shot of Arnie in Christine during the climax
Yeah.
because it hits me every time. Just like,
That
oh God.
pale green, how sunken in his face looks, and just yeah,
Hmm.
ugh, ugh. I always think of the drive-in scene where just like it's kind of a there's some of this in the De Palma stuff too, where like, she opens up a book and they like shine a little light at the bottom of her face, like it's the
Hmm.
fucking briefcase in Pulp Fiction or something. But the scene in Christine when they're at the drive-in and all of a sudden the inside of the Plymouth just turns into the fucking sun, like there's
Yeah.
just suddenly this blinding light coming from
If, if
inside the
if there
car.
was
Yeah.
if there was ever any doubt about this car being a living being, that is
Yeah.
now erased.
Hmm.
So, uh, I have well, maybe we finish the Carrie thing, but I've got a Christine take. But yeah, it just there's something to the way the novel goes that I feel like is really good for the novel of Carrie and something that's really good about the movie Carrie. Like just I'm talking about the flying knives basically. There's the way that that happens in the book is really good, but it wouldn't work if you're not reading it because it's like
Yeah.
she psychically like wraps her hand around her mother's heart and just says like nighty night, like and just grips it until it stops working.
Hmm.
And I just don't that specifically there's a Noah Baumbach directed documentary called De
Yes.
Palma where Brian De Palma is like joking about the end of the book. He's like, "So her heart gave out? That's dramatic." And that's when I came up with the flying utensils.
Hmm.
Like a little
String that,
gremlin.
string that bitch up like Saint Sebastian.
Like
I would
Saint
have
fucking Sebastian. It's
I would
so
have
cool.
pin her up like we did little Getty Lee in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
doll has
no.
the exact same hair as Rush's Getty Lee, and I will never see anything else.
And the literal final like minute of this movie is also great. The
I
book
am
ends on that note about like, oh, there's this other kid. Ooh, what's gonna
yeah,
happen now?
yeah.
But the final jump scare, I think, is so fucking effective.
I am not as much as this is a five-star movie for me. It's one of my favorite movies. I've never been in love with like, and then the house exploded or imploded or collapsed or whatever exactly it does. It's like, okay, well, I'm glad that we had to end it somehow. We did everything that we needed to do to get here. It's a little bit like, blow up the house.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the very end
The
when
the
Amy
hand, yeah,
Irving
yeah,
goes to the house and like lays down and then boom,
yeah.
hand.
You want to think that like, all right, well, it's finally all over. They can rest in peace. And it's like, yeah, no.
No, you're
There's
gonna be traumatized by this for the rest of your life, girl. Sorry.
both books have a very similar ending note, and I don't. There's like a way that it happens in Christine that I don't love, but there is something that works for me about this idea that, like, I mean, again, near the beginning of Christine, the thing that I quoted earlier, there's at least two in every high school, a boy and a girl, right? This happens over and over and over and over. There's
Hmm.
always another Christine. There's always another there's always another like iteration of this thing. There's always another
Yeah.
generation of this story that's just going to keep going on and on and on, which is so much
Hmm.
of what the like supplementary material in Carrie is kind of like getting at in the book is like
Hmm.
people trying to deny it or talk about it like it's this one-off thing. And it's like, no, this is like every town, that's the
Yeah.
Twin Peaks Laura Palmer thing. This is every
Hmm.
town.
It's
Every
like, no,
town's
we
got
should
this girl.
probably be honest about this.
Yeah. And it's a haunting little thought where it's like, yeah, the cycle of it just doesn't really end. And I think one of the things that I like better in Christine than Carrie, book
Hmm.
and movie, like just is everything is kind of rooted. So again, ghost car, little goofy, but the idea of having this hobby fixation and that becomes the way that he both is empowered and then
Hmm.
eventually takes it too far. The idea that like to be aggressively, even toxic, masculine actually kind of sets him free and then it starts to corrode him. It's like a balance
Hmm.
thing. I think that there's something in that both movies, like both movies, both books about empowerment through fairly dark means, and obviously that going too far.
Yeah. And I do think that speaks to something even now in the 21st century, the way that people latch onto a hobby or fandom and get
Yeah,
completely lost into the point where you're like, wow, I don't recognize you anymore. What happened?
I think with well, it's there in the movie too. But I think with the book, Christine, you get this sense of, it's being written in the 80s, it's set in the 70s, and it's meant to be kind of this
Hmm.
like critique of a very specific kind of like 50s culture and idealism. It's a very
Yeah.
like dark-sided American graffiti or a
Hmm.
dark-sided, just
Yeah.
whatever kind of teen movie.
It's a book about what happens
Dazed
when
and
one of your friends
Confused.
becomes a trad wife.
Yeah, because he's tired of his liberal parents. Like,
Hmm. This is what happens when your friend turns into Nara Smith.
and yeah, I don't know. I've always found the movie to be really underrated, I think. I think people don't get past the idea that it's like a little goofy in premise. One thing that I
Yeah, because
actually came away appreciating about the movie more after reading the book is I don't really like how Arnie is almost like getting possessed by Roland LeBay, the original owner of the car in the book. There's something to the time slippage, and it's about like the decay of this rural town, Rust Belt town, and like 20 years after the fact, like the glimmer of the American dream has died or whatever. But I kind of like
hmm
it better that it's just Arnie's transformation. This is just what's happening to him. Just let the car speak for itself and let him be the guy. I don't love the idea that it's like somebody else that's tugging his strings as much as it is him and his own evolution.
it's a
Totally.
little more emotionally connected in the book. I mean, in the movie.
Mm. You just feel like, yeah, it's a slippery slope that he's going down. First, he's afraid of a guy like this, then he becomes a guy like that, referring to
Yeah.
Mr. Shitting on the Dash, Buddy Repperton.
Who looks exactly like John Travolta and Carrie.
Yeah,
I'm convinced that
Yeah.
Carpenter went, go get me a Billy Nolan.
yeah. In the book, again, I forget where it is. If I was looking at my copy of it, he name drops John Travolta in the novel, and I'm like, well, that has to be because he plays Billy and Carrie, right? Like,
Yeah.
has to be. Stephen King, not a fan of John Carpenter's Christine, but my understanding is that he does like Brian De Palma's Carrie. So make of
I
that what
think
you
he's
will.
I think he's been on record being like the movie is better than the book with
Carrie,
Carrie.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does think that.
Whereas I don't think he's as into it with Christine. One thing I want to say about Christine, Robert Prosky, period. Underline,
Yeah.
circle, star at the top. That guy
Good.
just
Yeah.
rules. I love seeing him.
Yeah.
Just
Walking
like a
around with
gruff
that
old bastard.
walking around with that double barrel. Like I'll throw you out on your ass. You late
He's
with
a
any payments? You
he's a
out of here.
different kind of guy than he is in the book for sure. Like there's just less
Hmm.
time. Everything is a little bit more compressed here. So the movie's kind of like, to call your point earlier, like it is streamlining the novel quite a bit,
Yeah.
I would say. Lighter body, a little bit
Hmm.
fleeter footed, which I mean, I think you have to do it, to
Yeah.
make a movie out of this. Like no matter what, even if the
Hmm.
movie was 2.5 hours long, you'd still have to make it leaner.
Yeah.
But I do think that this story just,
Hmm.
there's certain elements of it where it's like, yeah, then we started parking the car in the airport parking lot, which is where this guy worked, and he tipped him off, and
Yeah.
then he fucking
This
booked it
is
out of
this is
town. And
before this adaptation was made before we got to the Mike Flanagan stage of, oh, we're gonna cover every single
yeah,
detail to
yeah,
slavishly to
Well,
the point of like my boredom, frankly.
well, the Mike Flanagan stage vastly was presaged by the Stephen King miniseries stage,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
where we
Of
turn
The
in
Stand
these
and Shining.
and
four
Tim
hour
Curry,
4 hour, let's do every detail of the book with our $5 budget
and
and
then
our
Right.
you're like,
shitty
wow,
actors.
and then you're like, wow, this is stupid. Thank you,
This was
Stanley.
all all based on Stanley Kubrick like
I'm
owning your
gonna
ass.
I'm gonna make
Sorry,
Stephen King's The Shining.
like sorry, Stanley Sunju. I don't know how to tell
I
you.
don't I'm sorry that happened, but yeah, it happened with De Palma and it happened with Kubrick. I don't know that it's happened with anybody else. Is there anybody else? Anybody else who like definitively beat his ass with a movie adaptation? I haven't
I
read
love it.
Misery, so
No, The Misery is way better. The book
the
is.
book. I imagine that it would
Uh,
be, just because that's what it's about.
yeah.
Hmm.
But the
Cool movie.
body, Stand By Me is better than the body by a good bit.
I I feel like the short stories is a little bit of a different thing than the
Sure.
novels. But yeah, I'm with you. I got you. Like so like Shawshank Redemption or Secret Window,
Yeah.
I guess, like whatever the short story ones that you want to
Um,
pull.
Yeah. Let me look at I have a
Probably
whole
some people
list.
argue for Dolores Claiborne.
Dolores Claiborne, great book, very good movie.
Mm.
I
Both
still
both
haven't seen or read either of those. Fake fan.
yeah, I would say like King movies, it goes Shining, then Carrie, then Christine, then Misery, then Stand By Me. Or, maybe those three in the middle could get no, not
Uh,
Christine, but the two, four and five could kind of wiggle around a little bit for me.
Yeah. Some
so
people
yeah,
may have the
it is just Kubrick and De Palma in this
Yeah.
mode, and Rob Reiner if we want to be nasty with it.
what a trio.
Yeah.
The Palma, Kubrick,
With that
Reiner.
said, and
Well,
Carpenter. I mean, I would throw Carpenter into that mix easily, just like as a
as
guy.
like, well, yeah, as the best directors to ever touch the man's work, totally.
And I think
Hmm.
he's the guy that probably, I mean, okay, this is where I get into like sticky territory compared to Carrie or The Shining, which I think excel based on the fact that De Palma does De Palma things and Kubrick does Kubrick things, and that
Yeah.
brings the material to a really cool place. This is the one where we capture the spirit of the work the best. It's like the most interesting fulfillment, or I don't really know how you'd want to put it. Like and like maybe Misery would be a better pull here. I don't know. Again, I haven't read it, and it's been
You
a
know,
long time since I've seen it.
I
Uh,
I do think that their Carpenter may have been more open to capturing the spirit of the novel because don't forget this was his first film after the thing just flat out
Well, yeah,
bombed
just completely
hard.
bombed.
So, when you're working for a major studio after a bomb, you got to be a little more receptive to the demands of the author
well,
that you're
there
adapting.
there is that, but this story does feel very much in the vein of things that Carpenter is interested in capturing. Like
Yeah.
it has his trademark sort of absurdity in things like Big Trouble in Little China and
Hmm.
you know stuff like Prince of Darkness and all that. Um,
For
but it
sure.
There's like a rock and roll factor, I think, just the fact
yeah,
that we're opening up on
Absolutely.
Bad to the Bone and like, not that I think that Carpenter's necessarily like a car gearhead, but it doesn't feel out of whack with his
Hmm.
style at all. Very muscular.
Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, I slightly prefer Christine as definitely as a book. I wildly prefer Christine as a book.
Yeah, agreed there.
Um, I slightly prefer the movie over the movie of Carrie, but that is primarily down to the text. I just don't click with the text as much in any version of Carrie. I think the movie in particular is held together by bravura performances, both on and behind the camera, and a magnificent edit. And it's just you have all of that. You have a capital G great movie, which it is. But Christine, I feel like there's something in there that is woven a little more into my storytelling sensibilities in general. Of like we are, especially in the book, we are extremely
Mm,
psychological in
Hmm.
yeah.
t undertaking these characters, and that's something that I get into more. You could obviously, and imagine you two would make the argument that Carrie is the better directed film, and I
I
see
would.
that. I
Certainly
just think
has the stronger set piece filmmaking. Like
Hmm.
just
totally,
more iconic, more
Yeah.
dramatic.
A little more bravura.
Yeah,
yeah.
I would agree.
Like there's nothing in Carrie that touches the whole final sequence, although Christine completely engulfed in flames rolling out of a gas station is
Fucking
like
awesome.
I'm I myself am also on fire right now.
If we dial the movies, Cole already said the name of it, but if we just dial it back 1 year, we are on a Carpenter movie that is as bravura as Christine, and that I like more than Christine, geez, Carrie, and that I like more. Talking about the thing, like the thing, just fully, yeah,
Hmm.
that's the one. That's the one where like this and this, I Christine is like I think like a top three Carpenter movie for me. Like it's very high,
It's
but
top five for me.
it's definitely a small, I mean, it's a step down from the thing, and maybe a step down just from like his overall peak. Can I just read off? I have there are eight movies that he made in the 1980s. The Fog,
Mhm.
Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble in Little China, Prince of Darkness, and They Live. Bro, that is absurd level
Hmm.
of productivity. What the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
No,
about?
you know, I am in my bag for Carpenter as much as a person can be. No one had a better 80s. There's
I
no
would
one.
I would I would I would sink my ballot in for Hayao Miyazaki, who's got, Totoro and Kiki's and Castle in the Sky and the other one. What's the other 80s one? Nazca, The Valley
Mhm.
of the Wind. I can't, that's a fucked up one for me to name last. That's just like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
canonical thing. So like for me, I would like that's just but like
Hmm.
eight. He's got eight. One of them is The Thing.
Yeah.
hmm
And this is closer to the bottom than to the top of my own Carpenter list, but still very good.
I definitely
Oh, this is actually, I lied. This is just outside the top five. Top five is The Thing, Big Trouble, Halloween, Assault on Precinct 13, and In the Mouth of Madness.
Mouth of Madness is his 90s banger.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've always really liked the kind of chemistry and camaraderie that you get between the two leads in Christine. And that's really what makes it
Yeah.
for me. Like there is a sense of, in Carrie, the sense of tragedy comes from one, the escalation, the idea that like literally so many kids just got like completely climax with the red filter eviscerated at a dance.
Deep fried.
And Carrie as the Sissy Spacek character, just like the general level of pity and the mother-daughter connection, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Dynamic probably is the right word over connection. But there is, just like there is in the novel, a really grounding relationship between these two guys. And even just the way that like when you see Keith Gordon
Hmm.
interacting, his performance changes, his comfort level, like the way that he jokes. And then yeah, there's just a nice evolution. Actually, I wrote down, I wonder where that is. There were three things that I thought of while I was reading it. Let's see if I can remember what they are. One of them is definitely Spider-Man 3, where Peter
hmm
Parker gets the symbiote and
My
just completely
God.
goes completely batshit. One of them, which was the third one, and I'm trying to remember the second one, but one of them is Akira, where you've got
Yeah.
Tetsuo and Kaneda, and one of them, I mean,
Yeah.
just fucking completely loses his shit, right?
Yeah. No,
And
that
and the
fits.
other one's like the cool kid, you know, always been pulling you out of the fight, saving you from your own self and everybody
Hmm.
else. And then he loses his shit and dies because of it. Oh, I remember the middle one. So this is more of a book comparison, but I liked this one. Minding the Gap by Bing Liu. The documentary film, because it's just about this
Oh
dead
yeah.
town. It's just about like the degradation of a place and generational strife and how when you stick around this dead end town, man, you are just so likely to become the ghost of these past guys, and you watch people that you love and that you care about and that you grew up with turn into
Mhm.
the assholes who you always hated,
Yeah.
and just that sort of haunted, lost youth vibe. Um, and the movie only really picks that up in like snatches, which is where I think like if it fully was able to like fully embody that, I think it would go even higher for me. But
Hmm.
as is, I think it's just like doing enough of that on the bones of like a really solid thriller movie. I do wish, after reading the book, I really like the septic tank. Like, it's all the thing about the shitter, and then he fucking beats him with the truck designed to suck up shit. It's good. I like it. That whole thing in the book is really, really well done, where there's like some fucking corpse hanging off the car, and he's just smashing it repeatedly into the wall. It's so good.
If we dive that much into, I'll rephrase this. Uh, Christine doesn't have any moments quite as bravura as the whole final sequence of Carrie.
It's got one.
But this is what I'm getting at is that the car reconstructing itself is
Literally how?
levels of how
Yeah.
the fuck did you do that?
I don't
That is a great effect.
I know in my heart that sometime Carpenter or the special effects team or the cinematographer or somebody has given an explanation that would be like, oh, okay. It reminds me of in the movie, just an example from the top of my head, Contact by Robert Zemeckis, the scene where the girl's running up the stairs and into the cabinet, and then it's like the reflection shot of her pulling the mirror on the cabinet
Hmm.
open, and you're like, huh? The first explanation that comes into your head is like, well, it's probably reversed, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Where's the part where they're destroying it with a hammer or something? The hammer coming out of the headlight when like, the first thought that you have immediately goes down the drain. You're like, well, it couldn't have been that. How the fuck did
Yeah.
they do this? And it doesn't matter. Like, I tried to write about this. Like, it doesn't actually matter to me how they did it. The point is, within the scope of the scene, my brain just accepts it as real. The car can reconstruct itself.
You're looking at it do that without
Yeah,
you can see none of the wires.
yeah, it's amazing. Even in the thing, you're always kind of aware of like, oh yeah, that's like a goopy puppet practical effect or something. It's very well realized, but you know what it is. This one, I'm like, I truly don't get it.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
marvel at the artistry of Rick
Hmm.
Botton and the thing. Whereas here you're like genuinely head scratching of like, is this thing living?
Like, what?
Yeah.
Did you find a car that could just do that?
And when
Uh,
it dives into that little narrow space that
oh
the
yeah, and it
bigger
kind of
guy,
crunches itself in.
because it's
Yeah.
like, I know it could put itself back together. Is it just gonna? And then it just does it. It's like, oh my movies,
Uh,
Hmm.
Worth talking about the Carpenter score. Maybe not like my favorite of his, but
A good one.
Extremely effective.
yeah. Has a lot of like somber notes to it. The theme is like very rock and roll. Yeah. When we talk about that run in the 80s, like I mean, and you can just extend it back into Halloween and Assault and even Dark Star as the internet's number one Dark Star guy. Um, just as a musician, as a score composer, like just as vital that we've got, well, Ennio Morricone worked on the thing, but it sounds real Carpenter-y to the point where I'm like, I'm thinking that they were in the studio together, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Like his contributions to movie
Oh, for
music,
sure.
particularly themes, are just as important as his contributions as a director.
I
Hmm.
mean, the Stranger Things score was like the most popular score
Yeah,
of the last 30 years, and it's all just cribbing from this guy.
I think the same thing about like the It Follows score by
Yeah.
Disaster Piece. Like that's just Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Cynthia or Halloween, which is just the Halloween sequels.
Yeah. His music for Season of the Witch is the best thing about that movie.
Yes, it
Mm.
is. Dean Cundey shot it too, which is
Second best
always a
thing.
treat.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, there was something that came through. It was in my it was a work chat, and we were talking about movies. The original Halloween movie had a $300,000 budget and earned $70 million, eventually earning $300 million. No, no, sorry. Yeah, 70 million. 70 million was the number. Sorry, I was looking at the 2018 numbers. $300,000 to a $70 million gross. So like that had, you know what I mean? Like, and then to kind of obviously the whiplash that Cole was talking about with the thing, you know.
Yeah.
But you get free lunch off that for a while. I mean, he's still cashing them Halloween checks for the score and the character, and
Hmm.
every time they make a sequel, they send me a check and I sign it. Like,
Whenever they decide to reboot again,
That's $347.8 million dollars in 2025
yeah,
off
they
of
are,
that's a lot of
le
coin.
I think still less than a million.
yeah,
Yeah,
they are allegedly rebooting Christine at some point.
It
there
was supposed to
was
be
It was
yeah Brian
announced like
Fuller.
4 years
yeah.
ago, and
Yeah. It was supposed to be Brian Fuller who was behind Pushing Davy Peppers. One of his shows. He would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Freudian.
pushing it to
The
like a fucking
Hannibal
split screenshot.
the Hannibal series on NBC was
Hmm.
him. He did a
Mhm.
brief stint on American Gods, a brief stint on a new Star Trek thing. He
Yeah.
is
He's got a new
such a
movie
good
called Dust Bunny coming out.
Brian Fuller?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's his directorial
Interesting.
debut. It's about a
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
girl who like convinces Mads Mikkelsen to help her scare away the monsters underneath her bed.
I don't know that he is like the greatest dude of all time, but I really think Christine is a beautiful fit for him because
Yeah.
he would lean into the
Gay.
homoerotic tones. He would lean into the tragedy. He would lean into like the Teton, giving the car a blowjob kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that's his
Hmm.
sensibility of how he would go about it.
Which is
And I
which
think
is
it would just
probably
take
why
it to
it
it.
didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too weird. Too
And
weird, too
then,
fucked up.
of course, we all know Carrie got the 2013 Chloe Grace Moretz,
There's another one too, right? Isn't
Julianne
isn't
Moore.
Yeah.
isn't the boy
I well,
that you
there's
were just
okay.
talking Flanagan?
So yeah, okay. So there's Carrie, Brian De Palma's Carrie. There's
Hmm.
a I think a TV movie that's
Yeah.
Yes.
like
It was supposed to start a TV series.
yeah. I watched like 3 minutes of it. It's the ugliest film I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and then
Uh
you got The Rage Carrie 2.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is a riot. It's not a particularly good movie, but is one that I love. And then you have Chloe Grace Moretz's Carrie, which is the most
Hmm.
Dog shit.
sanitized, unbearable, fucking staid swill I've ever participated in my life.
If you ever just wanna like weep over the lost art of cinematic craft, watch the De Palma prom scene. Like start it from the moment they park outside, finish it from the moment that she walks out of the flaming building, and
Hmm.
then watch the 2013 prom scene. And you'll be like, "Oh my God, we have lost every recipe we ever had. All is lost."
And now we have presumably like an 8-hour miniseries based off of this 200 page
200
book
page book
from
that took you
from
3 hours to read. Yeah.
from Michael Flanagan. And I
I'm
just
sure Carrie will give a 20-minute monologue before she kills everyone.
I watched Midnight Mass again for this season. Very great,
Uh-huh.
great miniseries. Do another one of those. What the hell
Yeah.
is wrong with you?
We just don't need more Carrie, man. It's a simple story. There's really nothing that we left out
It
Yeah.
was
of the movie.
bested on the second attempt.
Yes.
That is the
Yeah.
pinnacle. If you think
Yes.
you are going to do it better than Brian of Palma, shut up.
Honestly, bro, listen to me. Hear me out here. It's a better movie than Carrie is. Do The Shining. Fucking do The
Yeah,
Shining, because I mean, he already did Doctor Sleep, so what the fuck would be the point, right? He's already
Yeah.
gone there. He's already done that, so that's probably
Yeah.
why he wouldn't. But like,
Hmm.
there are just these other stories that have like closer to your ideal emotional dynamic. Do A Bag of Bones. Do something fucking weird. Don't do Carrie, man.
I don't know.
there's no good Needful Things adaptation.
Right. What?
Give Pet Cemetery another spin. Like we still haven't figured that out. So
Yeah. Nobody's figured. I don't think he should be the one to do Salem's Lot, but like, I don't know. Maybe if Guillermo del Toro's like awake.
He did do Salem's Lot. It's called Midnight Mass.
Right, but I mean like Salem's Lot, like
yeah, I don't know.
Father Callahan and all them.
Like literally any other one.
He
I don't
did
know.
that.
Like pick
Hey,
up
I'm
thinner.
doing. Nobody needs to pick up thinner. Um, Stephen King did not need to pick up thinner. Um,
You know who needed to pick up thinner?
hmm.
Sam Raimi.
Raimi, yeah.
If somebody was gonna do it.
No, no, I'm just referring to Drag Me to Hell. That's all.
Oh yeah, yeah. That what a picture that is. That is also that also feels like it's in the Christine uh cinematic universe to me just for that car that's in
Yeah.
every Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, yeah. Christine, Carrie, movies. Yeah,
Two of my favorite ladies.
I think that there's yeah, just kind of a richness to the two of them together that actually just feels nice, you know. Again,
Hmm.
I go back to that quote from Christine where there's kind of a mask found. And I do think for Steven, I like him a little bit more when he's writing for the boys, when he's writing for the fellas, the dudes. Just something that kind of clicks a little bit harder for him. That's a strikingly emotional novel. Like
Yeah.
strike. Wait, what? Why? What? I didn't expect this to happen to me while I was reading this right now. What are you doing,
It's the
dude?
living car movie. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Did
Yes, indeed.
Lasseter get his idea from this?
Hmm.
That was my letterbox write up for the last watch. Prequel to John Lasseter's Cars.
Oh
Oh dear.
my god, the booze in the auditorium last night when Bob and Harvey Weinstein's names came up in the end credits for Scream.
That's tough.
Old Miramax.
Oh god.
Yeah. Any final thoughts here, Cole? Your thoughts on Mr. King
Good
and your
writer.
yeah
I always need more audiobooks to fill up my spare time at work, so
New
started
England boy as alluded
yeah.
to.
Are you doing
Started
Pet
Pet
Cemetery
Cemetery.
next? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
started Pet Cemetery the other day.
That is by far the best of those three
Mm,
to me.
already kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. It's been a
It's a
long time
really
since I
creepy
read it.
story.
I did it last year in like two or three sittings. It is worth just clearing
Mm.
through it again.
I do think I'll probably I'll go one of two directions. I'll go to Salem's Lot because it's the one that's been on my mind because of the first five thing. That would be a reread, but first time, long time. So like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
It's actually right there.
Uh,
No!
Bonk.
There they go. Um,
huh.
otherwise, I would probably jump to Misery just because it is a book that
Yeah.
I've never read before.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see. Hopefully I don't knock any more things over today. Yeah,
The
any
cats will
closing
do it for
thoughts?
you.
They will.
Yeah. Carrie should have had a cat. She would have been fine.
It,
Mm,
or it would have gotten exploded. One of the two.
yeah.
Suddenly she just, you know, she's like, oh yeah, she really is a psycho. But Carrie would have strangled that fucker.
Yeah.
Great movies.
Yeah,
I love Stephen King. I
yeah,
love Brian of Palma. I love Johnny Carpenter, hometown hero.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I feel like we're getting into a season of, and it's really been going on since like the It movies and the 2019 Pet Cemetery. Like we're in and Long Walk that
Yeah.
came out this year, Running Man that's
Yeah.
coming out this year. So
Hmm.
he just continues to be like a box that people kind of reach into and rifle and pick stuff out. So
I mean,
it'll be
there's
Because
interesting
I
to
mean,
see.
much, so might
yeah,
as
I mean,
well.
even after the miniseries craze of the early '90s, there's still like mountains of material that nobody's touched. Like
Right.
I think Lynn Ramsey is still working on a version of Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. I don't know if
Mm,
that's still in the pipeline, but
mm.
Yeah. Doug Lyman is taking up the stands because that's gonna go so well.
stop it! Put it down!
Yeah, we'll be
I
here
don't
for
know.
another 3 hours if we start talking about how to
Yeah.
make The Stand into a movie. It's just they're not going to do it though.
Me,
Whatever
I could
that
do
thing
it.
is, they're not. Whatever that is, they're not going to do it.
Netflix, cough up the money and give it the GDT and let's see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll take that.
He's the one that I would want doing Salem's Lot. I was just going to say earlier,
Yeah.
like if he's back, a little vampire action for him,
Ooh. Yeah, that'd be fun.
that feels good. That feels right. But anyway, that's it. That's all we got. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you, and we'll look forward to talking to you on the next one. I know coming down the pipeline, there'll probably be some new release for us to talk about. The only one that we've really got slated, we're gonna put Morgan through the ringer because we're gonna make him spend a little time with Cynthia and Ariana, um, and just see how that works out. Unless he bails on us, one of the,
Yeah.
you know.
All
I,
what,
I'm
5 hours and 13 minutes if you combine the two run times.
I'm a man of my word.
how long's the stage show again? It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Uh,
And the second half is about 15 minutes of that.
yeah.
Yeah, that
So
should be good.
there's a lot of groundwork to be done in improving that second half. The stakes are high.
I think it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
After surprisingly not hating the first one, I think it's gonna be bad. So it'll be
It's
fun to
gonna make
talk about. It'll be
it's gonna
a
make
Yeah.
it's gonna be so big.
yeah.
Visually, it looks better than the first one did, just from the trailers. Like
Yeah.
it looks like they upgraded some stuff.
I think they
Or
realized, hey,
at the very least, removed the Vaseline from the camera lens.
I think they realized that maybe every single scene shouldn't be shot like it's set on the surface of the sun. So,
It's
Just a
underexposed, you mean?
notion.
Like with no light, like the gray sludgy bullshit.
well, we'll be visiting those two, of course, and
Yeah.
we will be spinning the block on the original 1939 classic because, of course, you have to.
Yeah. That was that'll be a kind of a second redo for us because
Yeah.
we had a dry run of that conversation. So it'll be interesting to kind of come back to the table because I know Morgan, you're a little bit of a skeptic on the Wizard of Oz, so it'll be fun to kind of,
It's not
see
so
where you
much.
sit on that in 2025.
Skeptic is not the right word. It's more like just tepid. But it's been
Mhm.
years. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that does it for us. We're signing off. We'll talk to you guys on the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.